talk a little football as we are getting set for the opening of the 2019 football season, and we've got a big gathering right here at Hacienda Ford in Edinburgh, Texas. There's a ton of representation here across the Rio Grande Valley. Players, coaches, cheerleaders, all involved. High School Sports Magazine putting on their annual high school kickoff show, and the competition will be going on throughout the day as we are here broadcasting live. Want to invite you out to Hacienda Ford and take part in what's happening here as we are energetically entering the high school football season. I had a chance to visit with a couple of coaches. We'll be visiting with coaches throughout our broadcast. We'll also have some players involved, and I've got a special guest with Kevin Narl, who's going to be joining me from the Valley Morning Star. We'll also talk with just about anyone else that comes rotating through here as we are getting set to open the 2019 season. We're just a week away on Monday from teams that did not participate in spring ball to being able to get out on the practice field. And in talking with these players, they're ready to go. Competition, we're going to have some cool things going on here. The Mustang Club is here. You'll be able to see some neat stuff going on here at Hacienda Ford, and the competition will be taking place as well. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll get you set as we enter the day's broadcast. Again, it's coming to you from Hacienda Ford, High School Sports Magazine, putting on the annual kickoff show, and this is RealSportsLive.com. TVNS specializes in provider services, respite care, and emergency response services. TVNS are pioneers in the home care industry, in service for over 37 years. 11 locations from Brownsville to Corpus Christi, from Harlingen to Laredo.
Today's game is sponsored by TVNS, the pioneers in serving our community with the highest quality in provider services.
Every great dining adventure begins with one word: fresh. At the Sea Ranch, we combine a fresh, inviting atmosphere with chef-inspired cuisine prepared from the freshest local shrimp, oysters, snapper, and mahi-mahi. Our salmon, Alaskan king crab, and live Maine lobsters are flown in fresh. A local favorite for over 30 years, the Sea Ranch. Come enjoy a fresh experience.
Back here on RealSportsLive.com, Joe Bowling with you again, coming to you on a Saturday as we are real close to high school football season getting underway. Kevin Narl just advised me he is close to the parking lot, so we'll have him as our special guest, and we'll be discussing some of the things coming up on the high school football season. Competition, again, getting set to take place outside. Right now they're taking a big group shot as we are watching players from La Jolla, from McCallum Memorial, from Donna North, from Edinburgh Vella, from Edinburgh North, and from Weslaco, from just about anywhere, from Port Isabel, just about anywhere you can think of here in the Rio Grande Valley. 53 schools all participating in football this season from this area, and 53 schools that I've already marked down that will be having some representation as far as our broadcasts go here on Real Sports Live throughout the high school football season. Reminding you, volleyball fans, we do have volleyball action on Monday and Tuesday as we'll be wrapping up our coverage of the summer leagues between the Venom League in Edinburgh on Tuesday night and then the RGV Highway 83 League in Donna on Monday night. We'll have our championship coverage of that. Coaches, players, guests, all going to be involved in this broadcast. We're a little early here as, again, there's a huge gathering outside. You can see that. There will also be some activity going on the backside where the Mustang Club right now is bringing in some of the high caliber cars that are going to be part of this activity today. You'll see competitions going on over there on that part of the lot. Hacienda Ford, of course, all the sales reps are here, and our thanks to the finance manager Jorge Diaz and for giving up his office for allowing us to broadcast here at Hacienda Ford. High School Sports Magazine to give us, Dave Amador putting on this event, and he's out there right now in the middle of the pack, getting all of the players and the cheerleaders in place for that huge group photo, and then we'll get into the competition of these teams. several teams have other activities going on throughout the day, and so some of these players will be here for just a short period of time, and then they'll make their way on to other ventures. Other players and coaches will be arriving throughout the day as we're here all day long in Edinburgh at Hacienda Ford. Want to invite you down here to join us. We're on 3010 West University Drive, Edinburgh, Texas. It's Hacienda Ford, and we continue with our coverage of preseason, a little football preseason talk, and we'll have more after this on Real Sports Live.
Men, start the new year off right. Alpha Men's Primary Care wants to remind all men it's time for your annual physical. Call to schedule an appointment. It's about the body, mind, and emotion. Stop feeling sluggish, having no energy, or being stressed. Alpha Men's Healthcare believes in a holistic approach to your overall health. Even if you have low testosterone, diabetes, high blood pressure, or gained weight, let Alpha Men's Primary Care help you increase your energy, stamina, endurance, and quality of life. Start feeling young again. Alpha Men's Primary Care is changing the way men's healthcare is done.
Fans, if you want to look your best at the next game, then let Chewy's Custom Sports go to work for you. From custom designs and graphics to mass production in-house. If it's hats, shirts, buttons, mugs, cups, banners, and more, then Chewy's is there for every team and every sport. A veteran-owned company in touch with the community. It's Chewy's Custom Sports in San Benito. Forever Memories Antiques and Collectibles, located at 237 North Sam Houston in San Benito, is filled with vintage items, collectibles, and a selection of vinyl records that's as good as it gets. Every shelf, every aisle, and table is filled daily by a number of vendors that ensures that something here just might be the item you have to have. The vinyl record area helps bring an added atmosphere that makes for the fun trip when stepping back in time with the memories. Forever Memories Antiques and Collectibles in San Benito. Back here on Real Sports Live as we continue our coverage from Hacienda Ford and the High School Sports Magazine kickoff show. Again, the big gathering out in front of the dealership right now has all of the players and the coaches that are here and the cheerleaders. Most of the coaches are taking a kind of stand from behind stance here, letting the players and everyone else take part in the activities here. And we have got, again, players from across the Rio Grande Valley all right here. The competition is going to be kind of neat. They'll be actually pushing some of these huge Ford trucks right down the parking lot here in a competition, a race, if you will. 3 players will be pushing the trucks, and then there will be a driver assigned. And we'll be taking a look at that. We'll take one more break, and we come back. We'll get talking some football. We're here all day until 2 o'clock. This is Real Sports Live. Restaurant in Edinburgh, now serving quality, fresh, delicious food. Treat your taste buds and enjoy the relaxing atmosphere. Join us from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day, Friday and Saturday until midnight. Trevino's.
If you just graduated high school, are looking to change careers, or to upgrade your job skills, Texas Southmost College is the place to start. With over 50 certificates and associate degrees to choose from, TSC has the career for you. At TSC, you get a quality education that's close to home. Earn a certificate or an associate degree and get the education you need for today and tomorrow's job market.
Wouldn't you like to be in demand?
Register now at Texas Southmost College in Brownsville.
The bonds we create with our pets can be powerful. A man's best friend really isn't just about dogs, but about any animal companion that brings us joy and unconditional love. Losing a loved one is heart-wrenching, but losing a pet can be just as difficult. Unconditional love deserves unmatched service. which is why we offer pet services for those special pets that become a special part of the family. We serve all the members of your family.
For your construction needs in the Rio Grande Valley, check out Hosanna Construction in FAR. Formerly known as Guzman Construction, Hosanna Construction can design and build your home or take care of your home improvements. 802 East Expressway 83, FAR, Texas, Hosanna Construction. Formerly known as Guzman Construction. Call now for free consultations at 956-435-0381. Hosanna Construction, committed to serving you.
Truck Techs in Harlingen is your source for lifts, wheels, and tires. Talking trucks of any size, any model, and any year. Specializing in accessories with top-of-the-line products to bring that special look to your truck in a professional way. Lifts, wheels, and tires, with financing available too. Call today or stop by Truck Techs in Harlingen.
Fishing fans, here's your chance to catch some fish and help out athletes at the same time. Mark the calendar now and plan on attending October 20th as the 3-Up, 3-Down San Perlita Booster Club Fishing Tournament looks to be the biggest and best yet. Located at Laguna Madre Baits in Port Mansfield, Texas, this tournament is set to provide 100% of the proceeds directly to the athletic programs. Artificial lures only with a blackjack format, no fish over 21 inches, $150 per team or boat, maximum 4 people, and the grand champion is a team closest to 63 inches with 1 red trout and 1 flounder. Food raffles, baked goods, a silent auction, and terrific prizes from some great sponsors. Registration is October 19th. The tournament is October 20th. See you there at the 3-Up, 3-Down Fishing Tournament in Port Mansfield, where catching fish is helping athletes in a big, big way.
Men, start the new year off right. Alpha Men's Primary Care wants to remind all men it's time for your annual physical. Call to schedule an appointment. It's about the body, mind, and emotion. Stop feeling sluggish, having no energy, or being stressed. Alpha Men's Healthcare believes in a holistic approach to your overall health. Even if you have low testosterone, diabetes, high blood pressure, or gained weight, let Alpha Men's Primary Care help you increase your energy, stamina, endurance, and quality of life. Start feeling young again. Alpha Men's Primary Care is changing the way men's healthcare is done.
Welcome back here to Real Sports Live, and joining me again, as promised, Kevin Naro. I woke him up. These newspaper guys, they work the hours that most don't. They're at the games, obviously, but then you put the paper together. And Kevin from the Valley Morning Star, thanks for joining me here on a morning.
Sure, yeah. Good morning, Joe. Good to be here.
Let's talk about a little bit of the excitement. I mean, you get a little bit of a break, as does everyone else, as do these coaches, as do these players. But a week from Monday, if you didn't have spring ball, football is here and ready to roll.
Right, August 6th is right around the corner. August 1st is volleyball, so we're going to hit the ground running here pretty soon. And I just can't believe how quick the summer went by. I mean, we're already talking football, and I know none of the teams in our area did spring ball, so we really didn't get that fixed. But I know once July comes around, that's when you know you're starting to get closer. Once you see I know Harlingen, they have their strength and conditioning in the month of July. That's when you know you're getting a little bit closer, and now we're just a couple of days out from August, and I think I'm ready to go.
Several of these coaches are now utilizing this strength and conditioning to transition right in. I mean, they all use the month of June as their final tune. They give somewhat of a break in July, but Kevin, most of these coaches are now utilizing strength and conditioning as, it's not an official start to football, but in many ways, it's a start to football for these players.
Right, and then that new UIL rule that allows them to practice, 2 hours
yes.
a week. So now you're starting to see teams really start to actually implement that in their programs. But it's not only just in football, you're seeing it in all sports across the board. You're seeing that being used more this summer, more so than not. But yeah, everybody's here, you're right. I don't know where these kids are going, but there's a room full of football players here, and I'm starting to see a lot of familiar faces, and you kind of get that bug going just a little bit.
Yeah, they're herding them outside for some additional stuff that's going to be going on. Here at Hacienda Ford in Edinburgh, they're going to have activity throughout the day. They'll end up eating here later on, and I hope they bring us a plate because we got here early to set up. Kevin, let's just talk about in general as we get ready for the 2019 season to kick off. in talking with just a couple of coaches. I was talking with Coach Marie Chalar and the coaches from Mission. Is this maybe the definitive, quote, year of the quarterback for the Rio Grande Valley as we start the season?
I think so. Although every year it seems like we have a number of guys that can really do it. And of course, last year we saw a very special year with Landry Gilpin. Of course, I don't think we hadn't seen anything like that in quite some time. But, this year, there's a lot of familiar faces at the quarterback position. Will there be a guy that stands out? There may be one or two, but I think this year you're going to see maybe 4 or 5 kids really stand out, opposed to maybe just 1 or 2 guys in the past. I can say it now. I think going forward, I think Dorian Hernandez from La Feria is going to be one of the better, if not the best quarterback in the Valley this year. He's a senior this year. This is his year to finally be the guy in La Feria, because I know in the past they've had guys like Darius Hernandez, Julian Trevino, guys that have kind of, helped make that offense go to where it wasn't all just on Dorian. But I think this year, I think he's ready for that spotlight for the Lions out there. And it's Class 4A, but, I mean, to me it doesn't matter. We had Kai Money a couple years ago when they Brownsville St. Joe and their taps. But I think he's going to be one of the better quarterbacks this year that we're going to see, one of a handful of quarterbacks.
And I think these are quarterbacks across the board when we start talking and getting a little more in depth that can take a team, enter a game, win a game.
Right.
Put them on your back and win the game. And we're talking about sophomore quarterbacks at Nicky Rowe. We're talking about sophomore quarterbacks in Mission. We're talking about senior quarterbacks at Pioneer. We're talking about senior quarterbacks with Hernandez, San Benito, Harlingen, Hannah. These are quarterbacks that insert, need a play, I'll make it, follow me.
Yeah, Jeremy Duran from Mission. I know his name's been tossed around a lot. He's going to be a sophomore this year. And he's going to be ready to go these next 3 years. He's got some games under his belt last year as a freshman under Coach Detmer, who you're starting to see everything kind of unfold there for Mission. You expect some big things from them. And in 32-6A, the unique thing about that is every single quarterback is back in that district, whether they'll be juniors or whether they'll be seniors. But I think that's one unique thing. I think that they say that they're the only district that has every single quarterback back.
Let's go ahead and break down District 32-6A first. So we're going to try to go district by district and team by team. And then, of course, we're going to have some coaches joining us, some players joining us for our interview. Right now, Kevin Naro with the Valley Morning Star. Before I get into the District 32-6A, though, Kevin, you guys are on your final, quote, little break. But then it's all guns blazing as you get ready for your season preview tab. Right. Any idea when that's going to be coming out for the fans to be able to take a look at your coverage from the Valley Morning Star?
Yeah, we normally aim for that first week. I actually brought a sample. It's from last year. Basically, it's here, the camera.
Here you go. You got it. Yep.
Right here. This was last year's. RGVsports.com, and then it's the Valley Morning Star and the Brownsville Herald. We team up and put it together. We'll get some cover boys. We had AJ Garcia from San Benito, Jacob Bosas, Raymondville, Christian Cortez, Harlingen South, Joe Reyna from Harlingen, Darius Hernandez from La Feria. We'll get some cover boys. We'll put them on the cover. We'll get I think we got a little Madden design going. We'll get that little sprinkle. And then we'll just break down the teams. We'll flip the page here to, say, Santa Maria and Los Fresnos, and we'll write in, you can see it there.
Got it.
Write in just this team schedule, what they did last year, a photo of an action shot here. Just a small little write-up, just a small preview. And then, like I said, with the schedule, the record, what they did, how many players coming back, and who their coach is, and how many returning on offense and defense. That's all it is pretty much, basically from La Feria down to Port Isabel in our coverage area. We aim for the first week before football starts. Now, we'll be honest with you, we have yet to get out there because football hasn't started yet.
Right.
But come August 6th, we'll start making our rounds. Myself, Mark, and Stefan, and Roy will be making our rounds to whichever schools we're going to be going to. So we'll see these coaches soon, and we'll start getting photos. We'll start getting quotes. We'll start getting team records. We'll start putting it all together little by little. And then we'll put that out, and then from there on, we'll be ready to roll.
All right, let's now break it down. District 32-6A, as we see the activity starting to migrate from outside inside. But let's just break it down, Kevin. Last year, Hannah ran the table 5-0. I'm not sure anyone predicted they would run the table. I know we all expected them to be a quality football team, but offense galore. They had it. They had a premier quarterback. But Kevin, the thing that surprised me most about Hannah last year, they allowed just 47 points in district play. And oh, by the way, 27 of those came against Harlingen.
Right.
And from there on, they allowed 20 points in their other district play. They shut out San Benito. They lose a lot as far as some of those quality players, but just the fact that the Hannah Eagles went 5-0, went into the playoffs, played tough in the playoffs, did that do enough for Mark Guest and his program to say now we're reestablished as one of the elite teams?
I think so, and I think the game that really caught everybody's attention that said, okay, this football team is for real is when they shut out San Benito in San Benito. I was actually at that game, and I did pick San Benito to win that game because they were at home. If I would have said, yeah, they'd shut them out, I would have thought I was crazy, and a lot of people would have told me I was crazy. But I think that's the game when people realized that Brownsville Hannah was for real. And I think they really found themselves, and they found an identity. They allowed Victor Campos to do a lot of things that people hadn't seen before. They had a guy like Cesar Mancias in the backfield who's a very unique running back who really could just do it all. They had Miguel Payan, an all-around athlete, Aaron Frosto. So just top to bottom, this team was loaded, and they were just an extra point away from making that coveted fourth round. And now this year, I think a lot of people are going to say, okay, you did it last year. Can you prove that last year was an anomaly, and can you do it again in a very winnable district? 32-6A is wide open.
Yeah, last year, San Benito, Harlingen South all joined Hannah in the playoff mix. However, they went a combined 2-3 and were outscored 201-135. So it wasn't a typical profound statement by 32-6A that we're in the playoffs, we make these deep runs. San Benito did go 3 rounds.
Right.
Hannah,
very quietly,
again, was right there in the mix. But when you look at it on paper, San Benito, Hannah, Harlingen South, all playoff teams, and then out of the mix was Los Fresnos and Rivera. But I'm not so certain that just because you made it last year, you can automatically even pencil them in to say you're a playoff team this year. There's a lot of unknowns in 32-6A this year as well.
Yeah, there really is, and Los Fresnos is going to be one of those teams to keep an eye on. They're going to have Nico Valencia back, who's probably the best all-around athlete in that district. He's arguably the best wide receiver in that district, probably the area. But they got a lot of injuries last year. Los Fresnos did. I know when they came back from Odessa, when they played Odessa Permian, kids came back hurt, and that was kind of what derailed their season was injuries. And I know they're getting a lot back. And Coach Brown, in the time he's been here, he's been in the third round twice. I think this is his 4th year now in Los Fresnos. So that's a team you cannot count out because of the fact last year they just had so many injuries, and teams were able to take advantage of that. So they're a team that's going to be in the mix. Harlingen South, they made the playoffs last year. Coach Ritchie's, I believe it was his 3rd year. They're getting David Torres back. He's going to be a senior this year at quarterback. So if you're going to talk about Brownsville Hannah, I think you would have to pick them to win that district because they have Victor Campos back, who's going to be the best quarterback in that district. But the question is, who's he going to throw to? Who's he going to hand the ball off to? But I think
and who's going to protect him?
Right, who's going to protect him? Most important, who's going to protect him? But with a guy like Victor Campos, him being who he is, and he also had a great year on the basketball court, so we know he's an athlete. I think what they can do is really just unleash him. Let him do his thing kind of the way Mission Veterans let Landry Gilpin roam free and kind of do his thing because he's that good. And Landry Gilpin was about, 5'11"?
Yes.
More or less. Victor Campos is 6'2", so he's got a little bit more size on him. So I'm expecting some big things from him, and I'm expecting Hannah to win the district this year.
Just one of those quarterbacks, like I said, that is going to be able to come in, say, get on my back, I'll win this game for you.
Right.
Can't win them all, but he can certainly make the plays to get the win. Key measuring sticks for 32-6A, if you're ever looking at a district that says we're willing to go and play elite competition to get ready for district play, 32-6A is among the top, if not the top team in being able to do that. There's reasons for that in that other districts just simply don't have the games to schedule. When you're talking about a Mission Vets or something like that. But 32-6A, Hannah out of the gate, is going to be playing Vela in a non-district game. Pioneer is going to be taking on Harlingen. San Benito is going to be at home August 30th, but then they don't return until October 28th. As they're Harlingen against Judson this year. Harlingen versus Midland. San Benito, Midland Lee. Hannah versus Tuscaloosa. Los Fresnos is going to play at Montwood in El Paso, and then they're going to be at LBJ in Austin, and then at Permian, and then they're going to play at Vela. So you talk about the non-district action for 32-6A. And Kevin, when you say I want to get elite competition to get ready for the season, there you go.
Yeah, and that was the big storyline last year. After the realignment, when we seen that 32-6A was going to be a 16 district, was going to be different. We figured that the teams would have plenty of time to fine-tune some things in non-district, and it was going to be more of a sprint to the finish line more than a marathon. And then we seen the non-district schedule. We saw how grueling it was. But for San Benito, all those games are going to be on the road. Their home opener is the first week against Cal Allen. After that, they're all on the road.
For a month, a solid month. The San Benito fans will have to, get on the bandwagon and travel to go see their team play. Serious travel.
Yeah.
These aren't close games. These aren't games in the Rio Grande Valley. These are elite competition. And again, you concern yourself on one aspect, and I know Coach Gomez says, yes, I want to go up against quality competition. But Kevin, they have to look at what happened to Los Fresnos last year. You go against quality competition week in, week out, your depth had better be there, because there's going to be some dings, some dangs, and some players are going to have to sustain some injuries, play through those, and then get well again for district play.
Yeah, and remember Harlingen didn't get to play Judson last year with the weather and everything. So that game got pushed back. That game didn't happen. So I know the Cardinal fans are a little excited, although it's going to be at Judson. I know they were excited to host them, but it's going to be a lot of fun. And then especially with Harlingen, they've kind of fallen off the map just a little bit by Cardinal standards. I know the year before they missed the playoffs. Everyone was losing their mind last year. They righted the wrong. They made the playoffs. But I think they're putting themselves in position to win a playoff game this year. Speaking of the quarterback, with Jaime Galvan. Jaime Galvan is going to be another quarterback that's ready to put up some really big numbers and really have a breakout year. He's going to be a senior this year. He's a lefty. I know Coach Bobo Ledesma, their offensive coordinator, he's had a lot of good things to say about him. He played baseball this last spring, so he's been around, he's been in shape, and I think he's ready to take that next step, kind of the way we've seen some of these quarterbacks that are ready to take that next step and really, like you said, put the team on their shoulders and do some big things.
Players and coaches are going to be filing in. That's Kevin Naro. He'll be joining me throughout our broadcast. That's just a sneak preview of District 32-6A. We're going to break down additional on that district, but right now we're going to take a break. Well, it looks like we're going to be talking a little Tarpons, a team that made the playoffs last year, a team that surprised people in their playoff game. We'll talk of some Tarpon football and more. We're here at Hacienda Ford. It's the annual kickoff show, the third annual in conjunction with High School Sports Magazine. This is Rio Sports Live. I'm Joe Bowling, Kevin Naro, and many more guests joining us throughout the day here on Rio Sports Live.
How to add the Vtx One app to your Roku device. All your favorite shows from Vtx One Channel 1 and exciting games broadcast on Rio Sports Live can be added onto your Roku device by following these simple steps. Step 1. Scroll down to search and push OK on the remote control. Step 2. Type in Vtx One by using the arrow keys to move the cursor around the keyboard and pushing OK to enter the letters. When you're done, choose the Vtx One option on the right-hand side of the screen. Then push OK. Step 3. Choose the Add Channel option on the right-hand side of the screen and wait for the application to load. Congratulations! You have now successfully added the Vtx One app to your channel lineup. It can be found on the main screen under Home at the bottom of the list. For more information, visit the Vtx One website at vtx1.net/OTT.
Back here at Hacienda Ford, and we are joined now with Coach Gonzalez from Port Isabel. Tarpons last year made the playoffs, and then in a playoff game, dropped a heartbreaker at 57-56 to West Oso. And Coach Gonzalez, first of all, from that moment when that game ended, tell me about the fire that was lit under this Tarpon team, under a new coach that is now ready to propel them into this year.
Well, I'll tell you what, after that loss, our kids came together. There was tears after the game.
Right.
Because get to the 5-yard line and didn't punch it in, and we tried for a field goal and it was off to the left. But those things happen, and our kids got together and decided that we can do it. Once they saw that it could be done and come back after we were down 14 points in the first quarter, came back and took the lead. It brought some life to our kids and made them believe in themselves.
Well, I know that anytime a new coach takes over the reins of a program, the first thing that anyone will talk about is, will the kids buy into what I'm trying to bring into the system? I mean, there was a regime change at Port Isabel, and so Coach told me during preseason, he said, Joe, he goes, if these kids continue to hang around, he goes, I'm literally killing them in the way I'm conditioning them and what I'm doing. He goes, but we're gonna be there. And certainly enough, at the end of the season, they were there. So talk about the transition now into year 2 under a new coach. These kids know what it's all about. And so how more prepared are they to play his style and get ready for a big season?
Coach Strong came in real late in the season, and he came in running, and I mean, he had on his coaching shorts and ready to go. When he coming in so late, trying to get to know the staff, trying to get to know the players, and that's hard for a new coach to come in that late, right? And to implement his program, and very strong disciplinarian, and our kids started seeing what he meant, right? and when he made an example. We had a Valley View game, and he benched and did not take a kid, one of our starters, to a game for misbehaving in class. That right there told our kids, this coach means business. So since then, our kids started believing in our coach, and we started preaching what he wanted done, and our kids have accepted it. And I tell you what, they're going strong.
Let's talk about, after a 57-56 loss, the numbers game. What kind of numbers have you seen in strength and conditioning over the summer that tells you, get ready?
We've been averaging about 70 to about 80 kids, maybe 60, 70, 80 kids, depending on days, because some kids have to work.
Right.
But they've been showing up every single day, from Monday through Thursday. And then, UIL allowing us a 2-hour a week, to practice football. We did it on Tuesdays and Thursdays. One day we did defense, the following Thursday we did offense. And that got our kids all excited, and we've been doing football almost all year round.
Talk about some leaders that may be coming into this team, or has that been established yet? Did you have definitive leaders on offense and defense?
We do. Some kids showed up, like Luis Suarez, one of my linemen. Max Strong is another one. Edgar Orduña is another one. Jake Pinkerton. Those kids showed up every single day and made phone calls when kids weren't showing up, and they took the role of leadership.
I know that in Port Isabel, perhaps above all, tradition is something that, you don't have to look around far to understand that winning is part of being a Tarpon.
Right.
But these kids, above all, appear to be the type of kids that they understand it's not just putting the uniform on. You have to go through the work. And I think Coach Strunk has bought into that as well.
Yes, he has. And it's like we always tell the kids, we got that board on the side of the field that has all the district championships, all by districts, and we always point at that board. Your families have gone through blood, sweat, and tears to get their year there. Now it's your turn to get yours there. And that's sort of a motivational tool for us, and our kids know the tradition that PI has. And it's like they told us after the West Oso game, a lot of fans were real happy, and they said, we see Tarpon football back again.
Good stuff. Coach, we're going to talk with some players, and again, what do we expect out of the Tarpons this year overall? Is it going to be, more of the same, or are they going to be able to expand now through Coach Strunk not learning a system, but now being able to do what he's doing?
We're going to be able to expand. When Coach Strunk came in, we were limited on what we could put in as far as an offensive system. So we were real limited, but now that we've been under him for a year, now we're expanding our offense a little bit more, and so it's going to be exciting. It will be exciting.
Good to see you, Coach.
Likewise, sir.
Coach Gonzalez. We'll be back with some players after this. Music lovers, you have to stop and see the assortment of records, tapes, and records memorabilia at Forever Memories today. Located at 237 North Sam Houston in San Benito, Texas, there's over 10,000 records on display and more coming every day. Looking for your favorite album from the past, first pressings, collectibles? How about a 45 with a single you just have to have? Freddie Fender, Johnny Cash, Hank Williams, Elvis, Beatles, blues, rock, classics, Tejano, it's all here. Organized and priced for you, forever memories. 237 North Sam Houston, San Benito. Back here as we continue visiting with our guests right now, we're continuing to talk a little Tarpon football. Andrew Gallardo, their right guard, now joins me, a junior. And Andrew, first of all, let's just talk about it first. What have you been doing over the summer to get ready for this football season?
You know, I've been working out, doing workouts at school, practicing. We've been practicing already. That's pretty much it to be getting ready for that.
Your coach put you through torture during the preseason last year as a new coach,
Yeah.
but this year he's not a new coach. So how much easier is it to get ready for the season knowing what to expect from your coach?
I think we'd be doing better, a lot better, since we know what we're doing now, and we know what, like, we got used to our new coach, and that plays a big role.
Now let's talk about 57-56 to West Oso. How much did that motivate you guys to work this summer, and how anxious are you to get on the football season when you get back?
I'm so ready, like, knowing that happened by 1 point, that's big, like, by 1 point, that plays a big role.
Did it make you guys, though, believe that the system and the coach that you were playing for, did it help you guys to buy into what he's doing?
Oh, for sure. What Coach Strunk has been doing, yeah, for sure. We've been buying in. What he talks about, how he motivates us, for sure, is making a big role and impacting us.
If you had to circle the biggest game of the year, what is it? Is it your first game, or do you have a big game? And I know what some guys will tell me, but what have you got circled as far as your biggest game coming up this year?
Coming up this year?
Yes, sir.
It would be, I think, La Feria. La Feria or Rio Hondo or Raymondville.
Yeah, Raymondville.
Raymondville.
Raymondville's a big dog to beat out there in Raymondville. But again, appreciate you, and look forward to the season.
Yes, sir.
Andrew Gallardo. We'll be back with another guest after this. When in Port Mansfield, be sure to stop in Laguna Madre Baits, the home of Laguna Girl 1 and 2. They ensure that you have the best when it comes to your fishing needs. Locally caught bait, including live shrimp and croaker. Frozen baits caught locally, frozen shrimp, squid, mullet, and more. Dress the part with full outdoor apparel. Drinks, ice, snacks, groceries, and fishing supplies for any need. Access by road or by boat. Look for the blue building and the blue shrimp boats, Laguna Madre Baits. 828 Westport Drive, Port Mansfield, Texas. Back here on Rio Sports Live as we continue to visit with some players. We're still on Tarpon mode as Port Isabel Tarpons now visiting Mac Strunk, wide receiver, going into his senior year. And Mac, first of all, thanks for joining us here for the show.
Thank you for having me, sir.
Let's talk about what you guys have been doing. Coach's son, all right? Dad's the head coach. You know what it's all about. These players didn't, but does that make it easier for you to maybe get ready for this season? Or is this a tough one because it's your senior year getting ready?
It's going to be a tough one for me because it's my senior year. The guys are working hard in the weight room. I was doing summer track still, but they were working hard, and we're ready for this year.
Talk to me about what it was like and what you saw in the guys' eyes after that tough loss to West Oso to close out the season. You know, just how much did that light a fire for this year? Can you already see it?
Oh yeah, it lit a huge fire for all the guys that are returning. It lit a huge fire for us to go back out there and go and kick everyone's butt again.
So what do you do in the off season? What have you done? I know you've been running track, but what are you expecting from day one on the practice field? Because in my opinion, you don't have to learn your dad's system, and neither do these players. They know what it's all about. Does that make it easier?
Yes, sir. It makes it a whole lot easier, and we're just ready to play. We're ready to get on the field on August 5th.
And that's just a week away from Monday.
Yes, sir.
That's Max Strunk. He's a wide receiver, senior for the Port Isabel Tarpons, and we'll be back with more guests right after this.
Our professional advisors at Employee Retirement Services have been providing financial and retirement planning for many years for employees of different employment.
If you've spent your career in education and are ready for the next chapter, let the professionals at Employment Retirement Services help. You've worked hard, and now it's time to relax and enjoy with peace of mind and security.
Help fulfill your retirement needs. Come experience the difference with us.
And let's plan your retirement together. Call us at 956-440-8774 to schedule your appointment today.
Needing a treat before or after the big game? Then, when in Harlingen, stop in at the Scoop Ice Cream Parlor and Deli and treat yourself to some amazing things. Ice creams, shakes, sundaes, banana splits, and that's just a sample. If you can dream it, they can make it at the Scoop in Harlingen. From the deli comes a variety of sandwiches that is sure to bring you back for more. Hamburgers and hot dogs served every day. Open Tuesday through Saturday, 11 to 7, Sundays from 12 to 6 on F Street in Harlingen. It's the Scoop Ice Cream Parlor and Deli. Back here as we continue with our coverage of the kickoff for the high school season of 2019. We're joined now PSJA Bears, Coach Lupe Rodriguez. And Coach, first of all, thanks for joining in. And does this make it exciting to get ready for the season?
It does. You know, it's a long time coming, working hard in the summer, and finally just around the corner football season. So yes, it does bring a lot of excitement back. Bears in 36A last year went 6-1, lost to McCallum Memorial, made a run in the playoffs. How hungry is this team to get on the field? We're hungry, and just a correction, we lost to Mission High.
Mission, that's right.
Mission High, not McCallum Memorial. But, you know, we're hungry to get back. I know a lot of people didn't expect us to do much last season, and we did a great job. Our coaching staff, our kids, it brought a lot of excitement to our school. And, you know, being able to be district champions last year just rises our level of expectations for this year. Mission wins that game 24-7, and that Mission defense came to play last year, and they got a lot coming back. But let's talk about what the Bears have coming back as far as what fans can expect. You know, we have half of our offense back. You know, we lost our quarterback, which a lot of people, you know, say that, you know, we're going to struggle because of that. But I think our quarterback coming back, he's one of our slot receivers, Justin, will do a great job this year, and I think he'll surprise and open a lot of people's eyes. We got Miguel Flores, who led our district in receiving, was one of the top state receivers. Also, Marco Guajardo, J.R. Vasquez. You know, I think we're there, ready to go, and our offense will not miss a beat. Defensively, that's going to be our strength next year with Jacob Sanchez, you know, Mario Cantu. We got a lot of returners back on defense that will help our offense, you know, early in the season. A lot of times a coach can hang his hat on that. If his defense is strong enough, you can bring an offense along. Yes, definitely. You know, and I think, you know, our kids have worked hard all summer long. This group as freshmen and juniors, they were district champions, so we do expect to duplicate what we did this year coming up season. You guys, the non-district games, among them at San Benito. Coach, to start it all off, I mean, it doesn't get much tougher than that as far as playing around here. No, definitely. My first year, you know, when I got there, you know, we ran the table all the way till we got to Vela, and then our team kind of struggled because we'd never seen that type of competition. So luckily for me, the realignment came the following season, so I made sure that I beefed up our non-district schedule with the likes of Flower Bluff, Scrimmage and Vela, you know, like you mentioned, San Benito and Corpus Christi King. So, you know, as long as we come out healthy, you know, I feel that it prepares us for a season, and there's no team that we face that is tough as those teams. Talk about the numbers game and what's the summer been like? What have you had turnout as far as conditioning? Yeah, strength and conditioning, we started with about 120 kids coming in. You know, after the first half, it topped off about 60 to 80, but our main guys have been coming and showing up. 7-on-7 was big for our program because, as you well know, we throw the football a lot. So our kids were engaged all summer long with 7-on-7 in different leagues and different tournaments, qualifying tournaments. So I think our kids are ready to go. You can't coach them, but you can watch them. And during that 7-on-7, how important was that, or is that, when you look at a new quarterback coming into the mix and being able to at least get on target with these receivers? And that's the main thing. Just working with the chemistry with the other receivers is very important, very vital to our system. And, you know, they did a great job. They know one another, you know, getting to know his receivers, getting to know the plays. And it's like having a practice, you know, like you mentioned, without actually coaching, but they're actually practicing your system. Lupe Rodriguez, PSJA Bears. Thank you. Look forward to seeing you this year. We'll be back with more after this.
Hola, les habla su amigo Benjamín Gómez, el alcalde de San Benito, invitando a toda la gente que venga a visitarnos aquí a San Benito. Crucen por el puente Los Indios, más bien conocido como el puente de Lucio Blanco. Visítenos a las atracciones que tenemos aquí en San Benito. Aquí los esperamos. Muchas gracias. Su amigo Benjamín Gómez.
Back here as we continue to have a cavalcade of coaches and players coming in. We're now joined with, as Coach Rodriguez was talking, a new quarterback in the mix for the PSJA Bears out of the gate, Justin Morales, going to be a senior. Justin, thanks for joining us.
Sir, thank you very much.
All right, let's talk about the transition from wide receiver to quarterback. Through the summer playing a 7-on-7, you know, how has that been for you, and what's been the biggest challenge?
Just getting timing down with the receivers is the biggest thing, just throwing, it's all timing routes in our system, so just getting the timing down with our receivers is the biggest thing.
Does it help that you were a receiver to understand what your receivers are doing when you release that pass?
Oh, for sure. Just knowing, when I look at a certain defense, knowing that, okay, as a receiver I did this, I kind of have a connection knowing that what the receivers are going to do.
When a guy breaks off a route, or you're like, oh, you can almost tell that before you release the ball. So talk about what it's been like this summer getting ready, and how have you and the receivers used 7-on-7 to get ready for the year?
Just working hard every day, throwing outside every day, just timing routes, everything, getting our timing down. 7-on-7 has just helped a lot. Just getting our timing down, everything's just timing. We're good.
District champions last year. You're not going to sneak up on anybody. Does that change your approach? And also it being your senior year, how does that change your approach to this season?
We want to go out with a bang. My class, since we're small, we've always been tied together. We've always waited for our senior years to go out and do something big. So we're looking to repeat as district champs and go far in the playoffs.
Justin Morales, the new quarterback for the PSJA Bears. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
We'll be back with more after this.
We are this close.
We're this close.
We are this close. Of wanting to making history.
This close to changing the world.
We're this close.
This close. This close to making sure no child suffers a crippling disease
ever again. This close.
We are this close to ending polio.
Ending polio. All we need is you.
This close.
If we donate now, we may lose this chance forever. Help Rotary make history at endpolionow.org.
We are back here as we continue to have coaches and players join us in for some interviews here on our preview show from Hacienda Ford here on Rio Sports Live. Let's switch gears to the Pioneer Diamondbacks. Shamir Mallard, senior safety, joins me. And Shamir, thanks for joining us here for the show.
Yes, sir. Nice to be here.
Let's talk about, you went 5-1 last year in district play. Only lost, came to the Sharyland Rattlers. And, all the experience you guys have coming back. How motivated are you heading into your senior year?
This season is looking like we should take district this time, because we have a lot of returners. We didn't lose many seniors, and our guys have been hustling all summer, ready for it.
What have you been personally doing over the summer to get ready for this year?
Personally, I've been just going to camps, listening to college coaches, learning more about the game, how I can help my team, working with my team, just working every day, get better.
Enough guys back on the squad this year that it's not learning new positions, it's just getting better?
Yes, sir.
And talk about what some of the keys are as you I mean, you're a week away from getting this all underway. So what has this last fine tuning been doing, strength and conditioning wise? What's the numbers like, and what are you guys doing to get ready?
We've had almost our whole team go every day. Some guys are out of town, but mostly we've been doing a lot of running, getting back to fishing, a lot of weightlifting, just getting our bodies tuned up, and a lot of skill training also.
You guys have one of the premier quarterbacks on the offensive side, and so how does the defense utilize, we got a great quarterback, we got a good offense, does that make it easier on your part, or do you take that challenge that we'll carry the torch and make it easy for the offense?
Yes, sir, because we're going against the best offense, I think, in the Valley every day. So it makes it easier for us, because when we play other teams, it's a little bit less talent maybe, or skill-wise, like the talent we have.
If you circle a game as far as what the biggest game is of the year, is it Sharyland, knowing they're the only team that beat you in district last year?
Sharyland or Mission, probably.
So Mission again is a tough one. And you're in a district that scores a lot of points. So from a defensive perspective, it does help playing against your offense.
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll be back with more. That's Shamir Mallard, senior safety. Thanks for joining us with the Pioneer Diamondbacks. We'll be back with more right after this.
A Piece of Cake by Ibadas in Harlingen is a sweet stop for cakes, cookies, and pastries. The best in town for specialty cakes made to order. Sweetbread, cookies, pies, or how about cupcakes? At A Piece of Cake by Ibadas, try a Texas-sized cinnamon roll, or how about some tamales? Wedding cakes, graduations, you dream it and they can make it. The best in town is A Piece of Cake by Ibadas in Harlingen.
Back here as we continue to have players and coaches joining us. Let's continue on the Pioneer Diamondback Trail. LeVar Lindo, senior wide receiver, joins us. First of all, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Talk to me about what's been going on since the season ended for you personally, getting ready for this year.
Season ended. It was a pretty sad moment, of course, because we were predicted to go pretty far than that we actually did. But this summer, we've all been working like every day, constantly, just to try to have an amazing breakout senior year.
Talk about how 7-on-7 helped you guys this year. I mean, you know the quarterback.
Yes.
You're the receiver. You know the other receivers.
Yeah.
How has that helped you guys gel for this final run?
It helps us because we go in different environments, go to harder competition, and we just like branch out and learn new things.
What's the biggest difference going into your senior year compared to all the others so far?
So the biggest difference is that right now we are so much more like together. The chemistry's there. We have so much experience now, so we're like pretty good.
Do you think you guys will be able to hit the ground running, or do you have enough spots that you have to still bring some guys along, the younger guys?
No, I think our spots are pretty good. To be honest, on the defense and offensive side.
Ready to roll. And if you had to circle the biggest game of the year, what's it going to be?
The biggest game of the year?
Not a playoff game, but
probably our rivalry with Sharyland.
Only team to beat you last year in district play.
Yes,
got a chip on your shoulder heading into that one.
Of course, we're hungry for Sharyland right now.
LeVar Lindo, senior wide receiver, Pioneer Diamondbacks. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back with more right after this.
The Harlingen CISD elementary experience looks something like this. Let's see that again. To learn more about the HCISD elementary experience, visit hcisd.org.
Back here as we continue to join with coaches and players. Let's meet the Mac High coach Patrick Shelby, the Bulldogs under the rain. Thanks for joining me, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Let's talk first and foremost about what it's like to take the reins of this group of young men.
It's a great opportunity. It's a great privilege to take the reins, like you said, working for a great community, being part of a great program, and a school that has a lot of tradition, take a lot of pride in it.
Talk about numbers game, and what's the turnout been as far as working out preseason?
Working out so far, we've had a lot of numbers come out for us this year. Real excited about some of the guys that we have, not only in our football program, but guys that are starting to come out and help out from all sports also. We're real excited about what we have, and we're just ready to get going this fall.
I was talking to some other coaches before we started our show, and we brought up McAllen and what's going on, and they said, well, they got probably 150 kids to choose from. As a coach coming in, is that a card you can play that I don't know you, impress me, and there's spots available? Do you take that advantage?
Yes, we do. I mean, now the kids understand that there's a reason to come to work and compete every single day. You know, because we do have those numbers now, that allows those kids to work extremely hard. And like we tell them, anything you want in life, you got to work for it. You got to go out and compete for it. So now we have that opportunity, and the kids see that, hey, I got to come to work.
Is the vibe more curious or more energetic from the player's perspective?
I think at first it was more curious. Now that we've had a spring football under our belt, I think they're more energetic. I think the kids are ready to go. They did a great job this summer with strength and conditioning by showing up and putting in the work. So I think they're more energetic and ready to get rocking and rolling like we are.
What's the coach's perspective of going into this season? Because again, is it curious, or is it let's get to work and let's knock this out?
Mine and my staff, ours is more, hey, let's get to work. You know, all we can worry about is 1 week at a time. You know, so that's our main focus. Let's take care of business 1 week at a time. You know, handle what we got to handle, and then move on to the next.
Have you had some guys step up, even in strength and conditioning, that you're like, I need that leadership, and it's there?
Yes, we have. We got some guys that are going to be seniors this coming year, and they have stepped up. They've shown up. They've spoken up. You know, and so they're leading the way, which is allowing our younger guys to see that. And now it's making those guys want to become more of that Bulldog culture.
Does it also help you that some of these players don't want to go out the way last season ended? And as they're seniors, that's not what Bulldog football is all about.
Yes, sir, it does. I mean, for the biggest part, they just have to understand that, hey, I got to come to work every single day with a great attitude and give great effort. And if we can do those things, then we'll let everything else work its way out.
Coach Shelby, one last question, and that is, if I'm a fan in the stand, what is perhaps the thing I would notice that wow, there's a different look to this team with you under the helm?
Well, I mean, if you're a fan up there in the stands, what you should be able to recognize from us is that, hey, we're going to play hard every single down, no matter if we're up by 21 or down by 21. We're going to play hard. That's something that we've ingrained in these guys since day one, regardless of the situation. Another thing is we want to be able to play fast on offense and on defense, be fast and physical, and put it on tape is what we talk about all the time. Also.
Got it. Patrick Shelby, Mackay Bulldogs head coach. We'll be back with more after this. Forever Memories, Antiques and Collectibles, located at 237 North Sam Houston in San Benito, is filled with vintage items, collectibles, and a selection of vinyl records that's as good as it gets. Every shelf, every aisle, and table is filled daily by a number of vendors that ensures that something here just might be the item you have to have. The vinyl record area helps bring an added atmosphere that makes for the fun trip when stepping back in time with the memories. Forever Memories, Antiques and Collectibles in San Benito. Fishing fans, here's your chance to catch some fish and help out athletes at the same time. Mark the calendar now and plan on attending October 20th as the 3-Up, 3-Down San Perlita Booster Club Fishing Tournament looks to be the biggest and best yet. Located at Laguna Madre Baits in Port Mansfield, Texas, this tournament is set to provide 100% of the proceeds directly to the athletic programs. Artificial lures only with a blackjack format, no fish over 21 inches, $150 per team or boat, maximum 4 people, and the grand champion is a team closest to 63 inches with 1 red trout and 1 flounder. Food raffles, baked goods, a silent auction, and terrific prizes from some great sponsors. Registration is October 19th. The tournament is October 20th. See you there at the 3-Up, 3-Down Fishing Tournament in Port Mansfield, where catching fish is helping athletes in a big, big way. Back here at Rio Sports Live as we are in the studio as there's action going on outside. I'll switch that camera over so you can see that, some competition where they're pushing some trucks, and already teams competing with one another here in the Rio Grande Valley at the football level, getting these truck push competition underway. Right now we're joined with Nick Garza, the senior center for the Mackay Bulldogs, and first of all, thanks for joining me for the show. Nick, talk to me about your preparation and what's it like already under a new coach, under Patrick Shelby?
It's been great. It's basically like a fresh start. All of our guys are excited. The whole team is working harder, summer strength and conditioning, coming together, getting ready for the season, ready to make a new impression.
Which is motivating you more, the fact that your junior year, that wasn't typical Mackay football and the way it ended, and this is your final chance, or is this new coach adding the energy? Which is more so, if you had to weigh it out?
It's a little of both. I mean, our class, our whole team, we've been wanting a good season, and we have the talent, and now that Coach Shelby's here, we're looking forward to it. He's been pushing us every single day in the weight room, on the field, off the field, and in the classroom. So we're...
Do you enter the season with a bit of a chip on your shoulder because, you know, this is not what we are, what last year was?
No, if anything, it motivates us to go harder, it motivates us to work harder as a team and study film and all that stuff that is important to win on Friday nights.
I asked some of the players this, I'll ask you, Nick Garza, the senior, if you had to circle a game, is there the biggest game of the year on your schedule that you look at on your senior year?
Every season it's Mackay versus Memorial. That's the game we look forward to. That's one of the biggest rival games. And
all right, we'll look forward to seeing you this season.
Thank you.
Nick Garza, senior. We'll be back after this. Back here, let's continue on and visit with some Mackay Bulldogs as senior Brian Garza now joins me. Brian, first of all, thanks for joining for the show.
Happy New Year.
Talk to me about what it's like and what's the biggest difference playing under Coach Patrick Shelby compared to anything you've done in football thus far?
The biggest difference is our offense is a lot more faster. It's a lot more exciting. You know, a lot more pass plays. It's going to be a fun moving offense. We're going to be going and throwing the ball a lot more this year.
So as a wide receiver, you got to love coming to practice every day, or at least conditioning, right?
Yes, sir.
What have you done during the summer months to get ready for this season?
We played a lot of 7-on-7 this summer. A lot of competing, and then as well as we put a lot of work in the weight room and strength and conditioning, a lot of speed, a lot of footwork drills that we can get faster as a team and stronger as well.
Has it hit you yet? This is your final go around as a senior year, and if so, how different is it getting ready?
I think it's the same mentality. You got to come out and be competitive. You got to come out and want to win the district every year. And it has hit me this year. This is my last year, my last go around, so I want to win it all. That's always the goal.
No playoffs last year, losing record. How does that motivate you this year?
It just motivates us that last year wasn't good enough, that we have to improve. 2-8 is not an exception here at Mac High. It wasn't the standard here when we got here, and it can't be here when we leave. We got to change it.
You as a senior group, have you got together yet, or do you expect you'll be getting together to have that one last team meeting getting ready for this season?
We've gotten together multiple times. You know, we've had that conversation where this year has to change because it's our last year, and we got to change it for the people that are coming up in the program as well.
Final question. I asked Coach if a fan in the stands were watching Mac High football, what they could expect. Can you tell a difference in what you guys look like, maybe from a fan watching this game?
We're just going to be a lot more competitive this year. Not only that, we're going to have fun and win it all this year. That's our goal.
That's Brian Garza, wide receiver. Thanks for joining me.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We'll have more right after this. TVNS specializes in provider services, respite care, and emergency response services. TVNS are pioneers in the home care industry, in service for over 37 years. 11 locations from Brownsville to Corpus Christi, from Harlingen to Laredo.
Today's game is sponsored by TVNS, the pioneers in serving our community with the highest quality in provider services.
Back here as we are continuing to visit with players and coaches. We'll meet now with Coach Joe Maricholo of the North. And let's talk about what's going on with you guys and how's your summer been first?
Basically no summer, just grinding, trying to get the culture changed there at Donna North, and trying to do everything we can to motivate and inspire our kids. So it doesn't stop in the summer.
Coach, you took over the program and you knew going in it was going to be a challenge to get them ready. But talk about how the kids that are there, your core players, how they bought into what you're doing.
Well, there's a good core group there, and those guys go in there every single day, and they kind of bought in 110%, and they're like me. They want to win. They want to change the culture. They want to do everything that they possibly can for the parents, the community, and the city of Donna. So I'm thankful for that little core group that we got, and it'll become contagious pretty soon, and then the rest of the program will jump on board, and then that little group becomes bigger and bigger. So that's kind of what we want.
When you measure the importance of production from these core players, or let's just use the word recruitment from these players to try to get guys off the hallways to come in and play, which is more important, or is there a level there?
Well, I think you got to hang your hat on the core kids and kind of have them be the ultimate billboard for you and your program, and kind of get that buzz to the student body and let them know that this program is heading in a new direction, in a good direction, and you need to be a part of something special, and that's joining our football program. And I think our group will do that, and obviously securing some wins and getting some positive things going on, and it's a matter of time, because our coaching staff and our kids have been working extremely hard, and it's a matter of time before it happens.
Let's talk about this district. You can't sneak up on anybody. This district is loaded, Coach.
Yeah. You said it. It's loaded. From Bella to East to Edinburgh. There is no day off. And we know that. This district has great head coaches and coaching staff and great kids, and it's an extremely tough challenge. But the beauty of the game of football is that anything can happen on Friday night, and we're taking that approach. We're going to play inspired ball, and we're just going to put our kids in positions to succeed and go out there with a state of mind saying that anything is possible.
Talk about some of the leaders on this team the fans can expect out of the gate. Who do you hang your hat on right now as I need you to push this team forward?
Well, I mean, you would have to look at Tony Gandaria. You know, he's our defensive end slash offensive tackle. Fabian Martinez, the same thing. DT, nose guard, and offensive line. Jose Casas, you know, he's an offensive line and all possibly D line. And but the guy that's going to make the kind of the ship go where it needs to go is it's our little guy in that quarterback position, and Brandon Escobar. You know, he's the guy that the kids rally to. They fight for him, and you know, you see him, and you think this is not the guy, but he's our guy, and we got all the faith in him, and he's going to take Donna North into new heights.
Coach, appreciate you joining me.
Thank you.
Joe Marichlar, Donna North. We'll be back with more after this.
Our professional advisors at Employee Retirement Service have been providing financial and retirement planning for many years for employees of different employment.
If you've spent your career in education and are ready for the next chapter, let the professionals at Employment Retirement Services help. You've worked hard, and now it's time to relax and enjoy with peace of mind and security.
Help fulfill your retirement needs. Come experience the difference with us.
And let's plan your retirement together.
Call us at 956-440-8774 to schedule your appointment today.
Back here as we continue to visit with players and coaches from Hacienda Ford in Edinburgh, Texas, here on Real Sports Live, talking some football for 2019, just a week from Monday, and these teams that didn't play spring ball will be on the field. Let's switch gears to Ed Couch-Elsa, talk with some Jackets as Jack Perez, offensive lineman senior, joins us. Thanks for joining us for the show.
It's outside linebacker, sir.
Oh, outside linebacker, okay. I said offensive lineman. That's total different. You go against those guys. Jack, talk to me about what it's like getting ready for this year. First of all, as I talked to some of those MAC High players who had a down year last year, same case for Ed Couch-Elsa. So how does that change getting ready for this year? Is there a big chip on your shoulder ready to go in?
Yes, sir. There's a tremendous chip on our shoulder. We want to get back to the tradition we once were, where opponents used to come to the black hole and they knew that mystique we had. They were scared to play against Ed Couch-Elsa. And it all started once the season ended. The following week we got at it. Us and the youngsters, we pushed them, and up to now we built that chemistry, and we're all working together.
So was this square one, day one? Strength and conditioning, new approach, new attitude.
Yes, sir. Day one, we all knew, us seniors, that we didn't want to go through the same situation we went through the previous year. We didn't want to go 2-8. We wanted to build back to when we were freshmen, when we would go 10-0 undefeated.
So what have you done as far as the little extra work? Just everybody showing up. What's the difference?
For example, like when after the workout, we go outside and we do our conditioning. Just when your brother's panting, he's bending over, you want to pick him up, encourage him, keep going, motivate him. You don't want him to fall behind. You want to keep pushing him, work together, let him know that you got his back.
How anxious are you to get back on the football field?
Very anxious, sir.
All right, and has it hit yet that it's your senior year? Is there some urgency there?
There's some moments where I know, like, wow, like this is like my last chance to like leave my legacy, let the youngsters look up to me and know like that they want to be Yellow Jacket when they're in my shoes, that they want to play Yellow Jacket football.
Jack, talk to me about the defense as we visit with Jack Perez. Can the defense set the tone for the season? Have you taken that burden?
Yes, sir. Thunder defense, we've always gone to our limits. We've always passed our expectations, and we're gonna shock the world this year, sir.
All right, Jack Perez, Ed Couch-Elsa. We'll be back with more guests after this.
We are this close.
We're this close.
We are this close of unwanting to making history.
This close to changing the world.
We're this close.
This close. This close to making sure no child suffers a crippling disease
Ever again. This close.
We are this close to ending polio.
Ending polio. All we need is you.
This close.
If we don't act now, we may lose this chance forever. Help Rotary make history at endpolionow.org.
Back here with another Ed Couch-Elsa Yellow Jacket is Jay Cardenas, running back, joins me. Senior year, Jay. Thanks for joining me for the show. Talk to me about what it's like getting ready for this year.
You know, we've been working really hard to get to this point. It's our last year. We want to prove that we can do more than last year, because last year wasn't such a good year. You know, that just gave us a lot of like fire to keep going, to keep showing what we have. You know, like it was tough last year, but we can bounce back.
When you look around the room, and now you're the oldest guy in the room as a senior, what's missing and what's there that you look around that you're glad, or I'm still glad such and such is here? What players are around you that you're glad are still back?
I mean, I'm glad my teammates are still here, because we've been going at this since day one. You know, like we've all had each other's backs. We all play together. We all know how things work. So it's like it's pretty easy to get through what we can go through.
Which is more different? Looking around, knowing now you're the oldest guy in the room with all these young guys looking at you, or looking around saying, man, I miss some of these guys that used to be here?
Yeah, I do miss some of the upperclassmen, but I mean, time just gonna keep going. You just gotta keep moving forward. Like now I know I can try to lead these young backs, and I want to be a leader to those younger classmates.
What have you guys done during the off season? Because again, is it the biggest motivator that just I don't want to go out the way last season ended, or is there something bigger?
You know, we've all just set goals for ourselves, so that's just making us try to work harder to reach where we're trying to reach. You know, we're just all trying to work hard to get to that point. We just don't want to let anybody down.
I didn't ask Jack, but I'll ask you. What's the biggest game on the schedule as far as you circle it? Is it still those guys in orange over there?
To be honest, to me, it's just another game. I really don't. To me, it's not all about the rival. I mean, to me, I just love to play the game. So I'll do every game. I'm just gonna go all out.
Nice job, Jay Cardenas, running back. Ed Calchelsa. We'll be back with more right after this.
Start the new year off right. Alpha Men's Primary Care wants to remind all men it's time for your annual physical. Call to schedule an appointment. It's about the body, mind, and emotion. Stop feeling sluggish, having no energy, or being stressed. Alpha Men's Healthcare believes in a holistic approach to your overall health. Even if you have low testosterone, diabetes, high blood pressure, or gained weight, let Alpha Men's Primary Care help you increase your energy, stamina, endurance, and quality of life. Start feeling young again. Alpha Men's Primary Care is changing the way men's healthcare is done.
If you just graduated high school, are looking to change careers, or to upgrade your job skills, Texas Southmost College is the place to start. With over 50 certificates and associate degrees to choose from, TSC has the career for you. At TSC, you get a quality education that's close to home. Earn a certificate or an associate degree and get the education you need for today and tomorrow's job market.
Wouldn't you like to be in demand?
Register now at Texas Southmost College in Brownsville.
Back here as we continue to join with coaches and players, let's talk a little Hidalgo Pirates with Dakota Cervantes, a junior. And here we go. Okay. Tight end, punter, kickoff return, punt return, and DN. All right. It doesn't drive the bus, but he could. First of all, thanks for joining us for the show.
Thanks for having me, sir.
Hey, talk to me about how exciting is it to get ready for this next year?
Oh, it's really exciting, sir. You know, we're looking real good out there in the weight room. We're pushing heavy weight. We're working. We're not stopping. We're just not going to rest until we get that win. You know what I mean?
You started last year with the new coach. He's not the new coach anymore, Monty Stumbaugh. What's it like being under his guidance, and what's it like getting ready now, knowing what to expect?
Oh, it's amazing, sir. You know, he gives us a whole other perspective. You know, he motivates us, and he just always encouraging us to be a better person than what we are. You know, it's not just about football. He always talking about, you know, being book smart. You know, always focus on your classes, and you know, football second. But this season, can't wait to show you what's going to happen.
Talk to me about what you guys have done during the off season. What's the summer been like?
Oh, the summer's been amazing, sir. You know, we've been working off season. We push a little extra to receive a little extra. You know what I mean? We all work together. We're like a family. We're not, you know, football means family. We're a football team, but we consider each other as brothers. And we really look out for each other. We make sure, you know, when somebody's slacking, which not a lot of people do, we pick them up and we motivate them to continue and to keep on striving to reach greater accomplishments.
When you play this many positions, What's that like getting ready for a game, knowing that just about every snap you're in the play? Does that help get you ready?
Yeah, I love it, sir. I'm the type of guy, I don't love to be off the field. They take me off the field, I just, I don't like it. I love being on the field, just got to keep on working, striving for greatness.
What's the numbers like as far as the summer turnout for the workouts? How big are the numbers when you guys work out?
Oh, man, we're pushing, 500, 600. We're getting there, sir. We're getting there,
Good stuff. That's Dakota Cervantes,
That's
Hidalgo Pirates. We'll be back with more after this.
The Harlingen CISD elementary experience looks something like this. Let's see that again. To learn more about the HCISD elementary experience, visit hcisd.org.
Our professional advisors at Employee Retirement Services have been providing financial and retirement planning for many years for employees of different employment.
If you've spent your career in education and are ready for the next chapter, let the professionals at Employment Retirement Services help. You've worked hard, and now it's time to relax and enjoy with peace of mind and security.
Help fulfill your retirement needs. Come experience the difference with us.
And let's plan your retirement together.
Call us at 956-440-8774 to schedule your appointment today.
Back here as we continue to join, and by the way, Dakota Cervantes was talking about 500 as in 500 pounds in the weight room. There's some goals they have there. If there's 500 kids playing football, Monty Stumble has got some real magic going on in Hidalgo, and that probably every student in the school is playing football. But we are joined with Julio Zamorano right now, senior wide receiver. And first of all, thanks for joining us here for the show, and how excited are you for this season to come out?
Yeah, I'm very excited to be back, to be playing with my friends, my brothers actually. We've been playing since the 7th grade. And like it's our last year, so we want to put it all out there, and we want to give it our all,
You've been playing since 7th grade, but you haven't been playing for Monty Stumbaugh since 7th grade. But how much easier is it getting ready for year 2 under his guidance?
Well, first it was pretty hard to get used to the stuff, and then this is our 2nd year, and it's getting pretty easier because now we know his stuff and how he works and how he's going to push us and motivate us. So the job's getting pretty easy, and but he's teaching us more and more every day to get better.
What's the biggest motivator you guys have used during your summer workouts? Has it been the way the season ended, or that this is your senior year?
Nah, it's mostly been the way the season ended, and how we want to get a good reputation for the city out there, for Hidalgo. We want to put our name on the paper and stuff. We want to look good in front of everybody, and and especially also because it's our senior year too. We want to finish strong and everything. Hopefully get that district championship.
And what's the final question as far as the biggest game on your schedule? If you had to circle one, have you got one?
Honestly, because of how the season ended up last year, it's mostly every game that's our biggest game. We have to mostly win every single game, and we got to give it all out there. It's not just one game, but all.
Julio Zamorano of the Hidalgo Pirates. Back with more after this. When in Port Mansfield, be sure to stop in Laguna Madre Baits, the home of Laguna Girl 1 and 2. They ensure that you have the best when it comes to your fishing needs. Locally caught bait, including live shrimp and croaker. Frozen baits caught locally, frozen shrimp, squid, mullet, and more. Dress the part with full outdoor apparel. Drinks, ice, snacks, groceries, and fishing supplies for any need. Access by road or by boat. Look for the blue building and the blue shrimp boats, Laguna Madre Baits. 828 Westport Drive, Port Mansfield, Texas. Back here as we continue on with coaches and players. And right now we're going to be joined by Justin Cantu, wide receiver. Scoot on the chair over here a little bit more. We'll get you in the camera there. Justin Cantu of the Edinburgh Velas Sabercats. And Justin, thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Talk to me about what you guys have been doing on the summer to get ready.
Just our weight and strength program. We've been grinding really hard and just getting ready to prepare for this next season, and hopefully surpassing the 3rd round this year.
The way you guys made your playoff run, I don't think any of you walked off that football field satisfied with last season. Has that motivated you getting ready for this year?
It's been motivating us. I mean, losing the Westlake twice has put a chip on all of our shoulders, and we want to get back to that 3rd round and hopefully match up against Westlake again and beat them this time.
You just as soon go against them as anybody.
Yes, sir.
Talk about the preseason games. I mean, non-district games. You guys are everyone's loaded for bear coming after you. But how do you take that when everyone comes in saying we want to be the team that beats Vela?
I mean, ultimately we got to take one game at a time. We practice every week with different schemes. We have to take 1 week at a time. We can't look past to the next team. If we do, we get ahead of ourselves and we end up not coming out as strong as we should.
When a program has the success that you guys are, that means more and more guys keep coming out for football. So how has that helped make you a better player, knowing there's guys coming that want your position?
I mean, I think that it's just set an expectation of where we need to be and how we set an example for the younger kids coming up.
Talk to me about what you guys have done in the summer months to get ready for this year.
Just working on some new plays during our skill sessions and ultimately getting stronger and faster at our weight program.
Does it feel different this year, getting ready for your last year?
I mean, speaking for myself, there's a little more of a hunger since this is going to be our last year, and surpassing that third round, that's our ultimate goal.
Sounds good. Justin Cantu, wide receiver, Edinburgh Vela. We'll be back with more after this. Here's your chance to catch some fish and help out athletes at the same time. Mark the calendar now and plan on attending October 20th as the 3-Up, 3-Down San Perlita Booster Club Fishing Tournament looks to be the biggest and best yet. Located at Laguna Madre Baits in Port Mansfield, Texas, this tournament is set to provide 100% of the proceeds directly to the athletic programs. Artificial lures only with a blackjack format, no fish over 21 inches, $150 per team or boat, maximum 4 people, and the grand champion is a team closest to 63 inches with 1 red trout and 1 flounder. Food raffles, baked goods, a silent auction, and terrific prizes from some great sponsors. Registration is October 19th. The tournament is October 20th. See you there at the 3-Up, 3-Down Fishing Tournament in Port Mansfield, where catching fish is helping athletes in a big, big way. Continue to visit with players and coaches, and we'll continue with the Edinburgh Vela Sabercats as Tyler Bailey, offensive lineman, now joins me. And first of all, 6'5", legit.
Yes, sir.
Coming in the door, the biggest player we've had so far on our show. But what's it like getting ready for this year as far as the Sabercats go?
I mean, everybody's hungry, everybody's pushing, it's a different level of intensity out there. Everybody just wants to get back to that third round. They want to show what we got up against those Austin Westlakes, the Dallas, Houston, the guys that are up north, that hate that term, but everybody says up north, we want to go up there and compete. So everybody's definitely pushing.
Did you start working on this season immediately after that game, or what was go through the first couple of weeks after you lost that game last year to Westlake?
There was no break. I mean, the second we lost, we were all hungry. We just wanted to get into the off-season workout. We didn't want to waste time. We wanted every second we could to get prepared for this upcoming season.
The young guys that are coming in, you're a senior. The young guys that are coming in, are they easily motivated, or do you find yourself in a little bit of a teaching mode, bringing them up to speed that this is what it's going to take?
No, they're easily motivated. They know how much this means, especially to the seniors, and they're hungry. They know the program. They know the expectations we have, and they want to keep that Vela tradition alive.
Target on your back every night. Everyone circles the Vela game as the game of the year. So how do you use that to your advantage?
I mean, we just know everybody's going to bring their A game. We know that they're going to be flying on the field. So it's good for us. We get the best competition we possibly can throughout the season. So once playoff time comes, we're prepared.
From an offensive lineman perspective, you have a ton of guys returning from last year. Does that make your job easier getting ready, knowing what your quarterbacks, your skill position players are going to do behind you?
I mean, offensive line, it's all about that unity, that connection, the chemistry. Everybody has to work as one unit, so having the returning guys makes it extremely easy. There's no time wasted trying to build a connection when we already have it. It's just straight into getting the work done.
Which is more different? I asked some of these seniors this question. Looking around the room and suddenly you're the oldest guy in the room, or looking around the room missing some of the guys you're used to playing with?
I mean, I miss the characters, but being in the driver's seat, being the oldest guy, being one of the captains, having these guys look up to me, it pushes me harder, knowing that they want to be like me. So every day I go out there, I'm pushing my hardest. I want them to follow. So it's special.
Final question about this season. What do you feel it's going to take that little extra? What's going to happen for the SaberCats to get past that next level?
It's just not making mistakes. We got to be 100%. We got to be perfect on everything. No mistakes. Perfect game to get past that. That was our weak point last year. We were holding good. It was just those little mistakes, those one big play every year, every once in a while that lost us that game.
Sounds good. Tyler Bailey.
Nice.
SaberCats, back with more. Forever Memories, Antiques and Collectibles, located at 237 North Sam Houston in San Benito, is filled with vintage items, collectibles, and a selection of vinyl records that's as good as it gets. Every shelf, every aisle, and table is filled daily by a number of vendors that ensures that something here just might be the item you have to have. The vinyl record area helps bring an added atmosphere that makes for a fun trip when stepping back in time with the memories. Forever Memories, Antiques and Collectibles in San Benito. Trevino's Restaurant in Edinburgh, now serving quality, fresh, delicious food. Treat your taste buds and enjoy the relaxing atmosphere. Join us from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day, Friday and Saturday until midnight. Trevino's. Back here as we continue to visit with coaches and players. How about some PSJA Memorial Talk as Coach David Brown joins us. Coach, thanks for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Hey, talk to me about what it's like. Are you guys ready to hit the road running?
We're ready, man. Obviously, going through the spring, good athletic period, banging the weights and running, tossing the ball around a little bit. But over the summer, the guys did a really good job of coming out as far as having that core group every day. So the guys are ready to get just real football going on.
What do you think the biggest motivator is for players across the board for Memorial going into this season?
Newness, but at the same time, looking back at last season, the guys won 4 of the last 5 games. So there's that momentum on the field that they took into the offseason. And then the new group of guys, because we graduated some seniors that put in a lot of yards and points. So for the guys that have this opportunity to come go play.
Do you feel like the wins late in the season was an aspect of the players finally getting it, or was it just the players understanding their roles more so?
Well, we got a new staff, to be honest with you, so it's more of the guys really believing in themselves. So it's, early on in the season trying to figure life out, but just having that confidence and believing in each other and being able to get things done on the field. What's the biggest target as far as preparation for this season? Offense, defense, line, skill, or is it all of the above? Well, all of the above, just as far as overall program. We have a talented receiver, Michael Munoz, that most people can't cover. We got a quarterback that can give them the ball as far as Alex Leyva. So as far as putting up points on the offense side, we feel good about that. Defensively, just making sure that we have the right people in the right places. And a lot of it for us is when it comes to one-on-one battles, we feel good about that. It's more of just overall depth and guys being strong in the fourth quarter. Let's talk about the depth. What's the turnout been during the summer for the workouts and conditioning? Now, as a coach, you're never pleased, right? You always want one more guy, a few more guys. But the guys that showed up, they really worked hard. So they buy into what we're preaching, and we love the effort that they put forth. Does it make your job easier as a coach when you can talk about your quarterback as one of your leaders out of the gate? Most definitely, most definitely. When you feel good about your quarterback, you feel good about a lot of things. So I guess kind of like that marinara sauce or salsa, just make everything taste a little bit better. And final question, talk about how the non-district season is going to help you guys get ready when district play comes around. In our district, man, we got 10 teams. So one game. Yeah, we open up against North and jump right in it. So it's going to let us know what we have pretty early, obviously with the scrimmages and then playing North. But then right after that, we play Mission Vets as far as starting things off. So we jump in the deep end and start swimming pretty quick. Mission Vets right out of the gate. Yeah. So in a district like this, I mean, last year, people saw that coming. Mission Vets was going to be able to do that. But what I don't think people saw coming was that across the board, everyone was able to score points last year in that district. So do you look at that as we better be able to light up the scoreboard and say like a Big 12 situation, or is it an SEC situation where if we put the right defense on the field, we can start shutting some people down? That's most definitely right as far as we got to be able to stop some people as far as keeping points off the board. Then offensively, we got to make sure that we control some clock, right, and not turn the ball over and take care of the football. Sounds good. Coach Brown, PSJA Memorial, we'll be back with more after this.
Music lovers, you have to stop and see the assortment of records, tapes, and records memorabilia at Forever Memories today. Located at 237 North Sam Houston in San Benito, Texas, there's over 10,000 records on display and more coming every day. Looking for your favorite album from the past, first pressings, collectibles? How about a 45 with a single you just have to have? Freddie Fender, Johnny Cash, Hank Williams, Elvis, Beatles, blues, rock, classics, Tejano, it's all here. Organized and priced for you. Forever Memories, 237 North Sam Houston, San Benito. Back here on Rio Sports Live as we continue with our coverage here of our preseason football talk. And we're joined now, PSJ Memorial's quarterback, this year's quarterback, Alejandro Leyva. Thanks for joining me for the show.
Thank you for having me.
And let's get right into it. From wide receiver to quarterback, what's the biggest change getting ready for this year for you?
Biggest change is trying to take over not take over the team, but trying to be a leader, a model, a role model, and trying to just pick up the team and our last year's 4-5 record, try to make it better this year. So.
The last time you played quarterback other than a backup role was as a freshman.
Yes.
So does that make it easier taking the reins as a quarterback for your senior year, or has been playing a wide receiver going to make it easier to now be a quarterback?
I would say wide receiver, it's kind of more of it was a bigger step for me. It's kind of to just kind of get me ready, because I did play one game against Brownsville Pace, and I did a good job in the second half.
Does it help you being a receiver to understand the routes better as you look at it from the quarterback?
Yes, it helps you see the field more, see what's coming at you, the coverages and stuff like that. Or is that type?
4-5 your record last year. Is that what you guys have used as motivation, or what's your biggest motivator going into this year?
Motivator is just trying to get better as a team, and just pick each other up and just get a better record than that.
In a district that has the Mission Vets, the Brownsville Veterans, the Pace, and some of the teams that have put up tons of points throughout the year, do you take that as a burden that we had better get this offense in sync and score some points?
Yeah, we always try to be better than other teams, but it's going to be a challenge for us.
What'd you do during the off season, during the summer, as far as getting ready for this year?
7-on-7. We had there was tournaments here and there, and we just try to work on that.
Did that help you as far as now you get in sync with your receivers?
Yeah, it helps a lot. It helped a lot better.
And final question, what's different about this year as a senior, getting ready for your final year?
Just having the freshman lower class, just have them look up to us and make sure they keep it going on our winning and all that stuff.
Got it.
Yes, sir.
Looking forward to seeing you.
Thank you, sir.
Alejandro Leyva, quarterback, PSJ Memorial. Back with more after this. TVNS specializes in provider services, respite care, and emergency response services. TVNS are pioneers in the home care industry, in service for over 37 years. 11 locations from Brownsville to Corpus Christi, from Harlingen to Laredo.
Today's game is sponsored by TVNS, the pioneers in serving our community with the highest quality in provider services.
Every great dining adventure begins with one word: fresh. At the Sea Ranch, we combine a fresh, inviting atmosphere with chef-inspired cuisine prepared from the freshest local shrimp, oysters, snapper, and mahi-mahi. Our salmon, Alaskan king crab, and live Maine lobsters are flown in fresh. A local favorite for over 30 years, the Sea Ranch. Come enjoy a fresh experience.
Back here as we continue to visit with players and coaches here on a Saturday at Hacienda Ford in Edinburgh, Texas. Let's get right to it. Mission Vets Patriots. When it was all said and done, we were all watching one team from the Rio Grande Valley in the final game, and that was when the Patriots were on the field. And one of the guys on the field lighting up the scoreboard was Mikey Garcia, wide receiver. Thanks for joining me. Senior year, I can't believe it's finally here for you.
Yes, sir. It's a big, you got to take it all in and you got to ball it up and get ready for season, man.
But let's talk about, first of all, I haven't had a chance to visit with you, and how was it when that game ended? Finally, looking back at what you guys really did last season, how big was that for you?
Looking back at it, I couldn't be more proud with my team and with all that we accomplished. I mean, there's just so much that we could have done, and we did, and we gave it our all and just did our best. And in the end, we went pretty far. We actually went to the 4th round, and we gave it our all. We did what we could, and in the end, it wasn't the best outcome. We couldn't keep going, but after, I'm pretty sure we were all pretty satisfied with how we played and how much heart we gave out and everything.
But I know your coach, and I know you guys as players. I've been around you guys the last few years. That's not enough going into this year. Talk about the goals and what you've done to get ready to achieve those goals for this year.
For sure, our goal is straight back to 4th round or even 5th round, 6th round. I mean, nothing's holding us back. The only thing that's holding us back is ourselves pretty much. And as a team, we're just looking forward to push forward and just do what we can.
What's the numbers like? I mean, how big are the workouts as far as during the summer workouts?
Summer workouts aren't as crazy. Just 7-on-7 and a couple weights and just running and all that.
When you look at a new quarterback this year, talk to me about what it's like, the chemistry, and how fast have you guys, and what did you use 7-on-7? Did that help you get ready for this year?
Yes, sir. 7-on-7 for sure got us ready. We have an incoming sophomore quarterback named Ricky Rea. He's for sure going to fill in the shoes that, he has some big shoes to fill for Landry. And I'm pretty sure he's going to fit right in, get the ball out, and he's going to be a great quarterback.
9-0 last year in district play, so you're not going to sneak up on anybody. You're not hiding from anybody either. You're ready for that year, and how do you use that, knowing everybody wants to beat Mission Veterans? How do you use that?
It's like our coach says, whenever we go into season, we got to play like we got a target on our back. Every team's out to get us pretty much, and we just got to be ready for everything. What
has Mikey Garcia done differently this summer getting ready for his senior year?
For sure, it's trying to recover from my hamstring injury that was last year, and just trying to be stronger and get faster and bigger.
Got it. Thank you. Looking forward to covering you. Mikey Garcia, Mission Vets Patriots. Back with more after this.
Men, start the new year off right. Alpha Men's Primary Care wants to remind all men it's time for your annual physical. Call to schedule an appointment. It's about the body, mind, and emotion. Stop feeling sluggish, having no energy, or being stressed. Alpha Men's Healthcare believes in a holistic approach to your overall health. Even if you have low testosterone, diabetes, high blood pressure, or gained weight, let Alpha Men's Primary Care help you increase your energy, stamina, endurance, and quality of life. Start feeling young again. Alpha Men's Primary Care is changing the way men's healthcare is done.
Continuing to join our visit with players and coaches here just about a week before the season for a lot of these teams. Some of them have to wait another week because of spring ball. When I talk to Coach Gilpin, and he talks about the fact that I got a new quarterback that's coming in, he always ends that with, but Joe, I got these wide receivers that can flat out go get it. Well, we visit with Mikey Garcia. Now how about AJ Gonzaki, another one of these 1-2 tandem that just lights up the place. AJ, thanks for joining me here for the show.
Thank you.
Talk to me about what it's like getting ready for this year. New quarterback, first of all. Has that been different getting ready for this year?
I think it's been the same as when I was with Landry. I mean, when I came in as a sophomore, Landry's a new quarterback to me. I got comfortable with him. Our chemistry got where it needed to be, and then this year it's going to be the same thing with Ricky. I mean, 7-on-7 helped us out a lot. Spring ball helped us out a lot. We got our chemistry where it needs to be, and Ricky's a young quarterback, but he's very smart with the ball. He'll do what he needs to do. He knows coverages. He knows how to read it very well.
Did you guys approach 7-on-7 differently this year, knowing that that was an important part of it, getting ready for this year?
Yeah, we did. We knew that 7-on-7 would be a learning experience for Ricky. It would be a learning experience for us, playing different teams, playing teams that we might not play in district, playing teams that we're going to play in district, and I think just getting a feel on the field with everyone and each other.
Walk me through what you guys have been through since you walked off the field at the Alamo Dome after that loss. What has the team process been?
I think the team process right after that 4th round loss, it hurt for a little bit, but just getting there was a great opportunity and a great experience. And right after that, we want the same thing for this season. So we just started grinding a lot harder. We knew that with losing such a great player like Landry Open, that there was going to be a lot of a downfall for us and a lot of hate saying that we might not get where we were without him. So right now we're just trying to prove everyone wrong.
When Coach says that you have a target on your back, how do you take that and how do you approach a game?
I think every game is just fuel to our fire. I mean, we have a chip on our shoulder, and if someone wants to come knock it off, they're going to have to come to us, and we'll hit them straight in their mouth. I mean, someone's going to have to do it. And until someone does it, then we'll be talking about something else. But right now, we're 9-0 district, we're district champs, and we're the last team to play in the Valley. So right now, we're just excited for next season.
Can you tell a difference in just the guys around you in the summer months getting ready for this year after getting to 4th round last year? Can you tell a difference?
Yeah, I can tell that we wanted a lot more, knowing that we were the last team and knowing that someone like a Valley team that doesn't really go to the 4th round was something special. And whenever we hit 2-a-days or summer conditioning or 7-on-7, we take every game, every rep seriously. We want to get back to the 4th round, and we want to get back to where we were at.
When you got to the 4th round game, was there a difference? Was there an adjustment you had to make? Or at what point did you feel like we can play at this level? Was that from the start of that game, or was there a moment in which you said, we can go beyond this?
No, yeah. Right away, we got a kickoff, and we ended up getting the ball. And I feel like right away when Landry audibled, attended out to me, I had that DB shift, and we caught it, go to 1st down. I knew that we could play with them easily. The score ended up not being what we wanted it to be, and ended up getting out of our hands, but I feel like we competed very well. I feel like we can compete with them, and I'm overall proud of the whole team and everything we accomplished.
Preparation-wise, then, what's it going to take to get A, back to round 4, and B, that 5th gold ball, which Coach talks about all the time?
Coach Gilpin's a great coach. I mean, he's always having us ready, no matter what team he has, who we're playing. It doesn't matter. We're going to go on that field and we're going to do what we do. I think that our preparation will be like how we did last year. Coach Gilpin will get us ready. Our team's ready. We're all ready just to go out there and do what we have to do, give it 100%.
The young guys, the last question, the young guys that are coming up, can you see a different step in the way they're working out after last year's success?
The young guys, they're feeding a lot off the older guys. I mean, like me and Mikey, I'm an incoming junior, and Mikey's a senior, and you can tell our young quarterback, he's looking after us. He's in the film room right before we go out to summer conditioning, and he's in the film room right after. I mean, he's taking it very seriously. We have a young receiver, Alan. He's running routes with us every time. He's trying to learn everything, new moves, new techniques to get better. And I mean, all our young guys that are coming up are just trying to feed off of us. They're learning. They're hungry to learn, and that's what I like about that team. They want to win. And it's not just a lackadaisical effort. They're really giving us all they have.
A.J. Gunzaki, wide receiver, Mission Vets Patriots. He's a junior. Back after this.
Hey. Men, start the new year off right. Alpha Men's Primary Care wants to remind all men it's time for your annual physical. Call to schedule an appointment. It's about the body, mind, and emotion. Stop feeling sluggish, having no energy, or being stressed. Alpha Men's Healthcare believes in a holistic approach to your overall health. Even if you have low testosterone, diabetes, high blood pressure, or gained weight, let Alpha Men's Primary Care help you increase your energy, stamina, endurance, and quality of life. Start feeling young again. Alpha Men's Primary Care is changing the way men's healthcare is done.
How to add the Vtx One app to your Roku device. All your favorite shows from Vtx One Channel 1 and exciting games broadcast on Rio Sports Live can be added onto your Roku device by following these simple steps. Step 1. Scroll down to search and push OK on the remote control. Step 2. Type in Vtx One by using the arrow keys to move the cursor around the keyboard and pushing OK to enter the letters. When you're done, choose the Vtx One option on the right-hand side of the screen. Then push OK. Step 3. Choose the Add Channel option on the right-hand side of the screen and wait for the application to load. Congratulations! You have now successfully added the Vtx One app to your channel lineup. It can be found on the main screen under Home at the bottom of the list. For more information, visit the Vtx One website at vtx1.net/OTT.
Back here at Hacienda Ford in Edinburgh as we continue to visit with players and coaches before the start of the 2019 football season. Let's switch gears and get to the Sharyland Rattlers. And Roberto Farias, an offensive lineman, joins me. Thanks for joining me for the show. Hey, let's talk about last year. I mean, you guys ran the table, 6-0 in district play. What was that like going through that year, and how has that helped you get ready for this year?
Going through that year was just a great experience overall. The camaraderie that we created as a team was real great. A lot of it was seniors, so there was a few juniors thrown in there in the mix. So it was just those seniors taking us in, like, as a part of them, and just creating it all, just amazing experience throughout the year.
When a team continually gets into round 2 and 3 every year, you call that a solid program. So what's it like being part of the Ranadame show from start to finish as you close out your career?
It's been amazing. I have seen myself really grow as a player through the coaching that we have, and just how amazing they are get to know in our personal lives too. And I think they just really try to make a deep connection, not just as a player, but as a person, which is real great.
Knowing that you've got a strong enough program that a ton of seniors graduate, how hungry are the young guys knowing now the spotlight's on them?
I can definitely say they're real hungry. A big majority of them have been putting in more work than they used to compared to the beginning of the summer. They're really definitely putting in that grind a lot more, and it's just, you can see a big change in their style of play and their style of work throughout the year and throughout the summer.
What's different in the preparation that you see going into your senior year this past summer?
I think as a team, we're definitely not as big as we used to, but the thing is we are as quick. So I think a lot of us are focusing more on being able to play that quick style of offense and the quick style of defense and getting to the ball and just keep moving down the field slowly and slowly.
More pressure on you then on strength or technique?
I think it's going to be a little bit of both, more towards the technique side, because at the end of the day, technique can outplay strength or speed any day.
And finally, when you look around, is it more so that you're glad to see at least a couple guys you recognize, or is it like, man, there's a lot of guys missing that I haven't been here?
There's definitely a lot of new guys, but I can definitely say the guys that are still on the team, I've grown up with them, and I know they're playing. I have confidence that they know how to do their job, and they will accomplish what they need to do on the field.
Good judge. Robert Farias, offensive lineman, Sharyland Rattlers. Back with more after this. Music lovers, you have to stop and see the assortment of records, tapes, and records memorabilia at Forever Memories today. Located at 237 North Sam Houston in San Benito, Texas, there's over 10,000 records on display and more coming every day. Looking for your favorite album from the past, first pressings, collectibles. How about a 45 with a single you just have to have? Freddie Fender, Johnny Cash, Hank Williams, Elvis, Beatles, blues, rock, classics, Tejano, it's all here. Organized and priced for you, Forever Memories, 237 North Sam Houston, San Benito. Back here as we continue to join players and coaches from across the Rio Grande Valley. We'll continue visiting with the Sharyland Rattlers. Santino Pascual, a linebacker, a senior year. Finally here. Does it seem like it just started, or are you shocked it's finishing up?
It's gone pretty quick. I mean, it's been a good ride, but it's pretty shocking.
Let's talk about the Sharyland Rattlers. First of all, last year, 6-0 in district play. You can't get any better than that. But were you satisfied when you walked off the field to your final game with your season in general?
No, sir. I mean, I feel like I could have gone better. Big problem I had was I was a little hesitant, but overall, I feel like the team could have played a little harder. We could have gone out with that win, but I mean, the past is the past.
Is there more urgency then getting ready for your senior year, knowing this is your final ride?
Definitely. I mean, the stakes are a lot higher considering it's my last year, and I mean, I just kind of want to lead this team. Usually, I mean, our breaking point's the third round. Recently, these past 2 years, it's been overtime losses in the second round, and I mean, I just want to lead the team as far as we can go.
When you lose a game in overtime, I mean, you walk off there knowing you could have won that football game. So does that help you, or has that helped you guys get ready during the summer?
Definitely. I mean, it leaves a little bit of a sting when the season's done. It helps you work just a little bit harder, knowing that those guys, it could have gone either way, and you could have been on the other side of the winning part of the scoreboard, so definitely does help.
You may have a different look this year and a smaller team, and I'm talking about smaller and no 6'5" guys running around out there on the field. So how does that change what fans can expect to see from you guys?
I mean, it's definitely, we are a spread team on the offense, and our defense is based on speed, so definitely I feel like we will be undersized, but I feel like our speed and our strength will make up for it, definitely.
Defense feel challenged in this district to keep that 6-0 and keep that intact?
There's a lot of good offenses, but I feel like our defense, overall, we have the majority of our bulk coming back on the defense. We have a lot of athletic dudes, and I feel like it'll be a challenge, but nothing that's impossible.
At the same time, you've played for the same coach forever. Yes. And so what's it like when you look up and you know that he's putting things together? Does that help your confidence?
I feel he has really good experience. I mean, he's led the program quite far. So, I mean, I put my trust in our coaches and then just go off what they say.
Final question. What's it going to take for you guys to get over that next edge?
I think we'd have to work together as a team. I feel like a big problem with teams in the Valley is they don't really believe. It's just kind of like, oh, we're going against this big powerhouse team. I feel like if you have faith, I feel like that's what it takes.
Sounds good. Santino Pascual, linebacker, Sharyland Rattlers. Back with more after this. When in Port Mansfield, be sure to stop in Laguna Madre Baits, the home of Laguna Girl 1 and 2. They ensure that you have the best when it comes to your fishing needs. Locally caught bait, including live shrimp and croaker. Frozen baits, caught locally, frozen shrimp, squid, mullet, and more. Dress the part with full outdoor apparel. Drinks, ice, snacks, groceries, and fishing supplies for any need. Access by road or by boat. Look for the blue building and the blue shrimp boats. Laguna Madre Baits, 828 Westport Drive, Port Mansfield, Texas.
Our professional advisors at Employee Retirement Services have been providing financial and retirement planning for many years for employees of different employment.
If you've spent your career in education and are ready for the next chapter, let the professionals at Employment Retirement Services help. You've worked hard, and now it's time to relax and enjoy with peace of mind and security.
Help fulfill your retirement needs. Come experience the difference with us.
And let's plan your retirement together.
Call us at 956-440-8774 to schedule your appointment today.
Needing a treat before or after the big game? Then back here as we continue to visit with coaches and players, we're going to be joined by one of the Mission Eagle coaches, and that's Coach Longoria. And thanks for joining me here for the show. All right, let's recap first last year. All right, I'm talking about a Mission team that knocked off Mission Veterans, all right, which went to the 4th round, knocked off PSJA, which ended up winning their district, went in a game that they would love to get back to Memorial again. They were up on McCallum Memorial big and lost that football game. And then lost 31-28 in a playoff game, which again, you look at it and circle that you could have won. So, all that as a group, how has that helped motivate this team getting ready for this year?
Well, it's a great motivating factor for our kids, especially we're that close. And, in those games, it came down to making, little mental mistakes, turnovers, which it turned, the tie of the game, 3 points one game and 5 points the other. And could have gone the other way real easy, but, we hold on to the ball. It's we'll be talking a different record right now, but that was our basis of our all season. Mental mistakes, being a bit more mentally strong, and I think we brought it across the spring and this summer, and hopefully our kids to step it up and we start our fall campaign, and that'll be something we look forward to.
Have the Mission Eagles now gone beyond the point of learning a new system with Coach? He's been here now a year or two. Have we gone past that? It's no longer kids learning his system.
Definitely. We're at a step now that our defense is established, our offense is established, special teams are all established, where with our basic fundamental formations and things like that, now we'll be able to open up the playbook a bit more, and our kids, whatever position they're in, that's second nature to them now. It's not much more teaching the basic fundamental defense and offense. Now it's expanding on those things.
Talk about how many players are coming back that you're excited as a coach to see. Man, I'm glad this guy's back.
Oh, we got a lot. We were young last year. We had great senior leadership last year. I think that's carrying over this year. And we have, to be honest, I don't know how many kids, because we go both ways. And I think last year in the playoff game, I think 9 of our kids started both ways. And and it's a testament towards them that we want to put the best product out there, and our kids are did a great job of preparing for that, and not just as starters, but they spot played, and that's one thing we've established there, that if you can play offense, you can play some defense and help us out as much as you can. And our kids are, take that with open arms.
So when a player is conditioning, if they look around and say, I may go both ways, I may take every snap, how different is the approach from you guys as coaches to have them ready to do that?
Well, I think it's the preparations throughout the season, kind of easing them into during our games, so they won't, we want them to last all year long, and we keep them healthy. And early on, it's more like spot playing, but in practice, when they take their snaps on defense or offense, they understand that when you're in, it's full speed, snap there. So when it comes to the game, that becomes second nature to them.
Which is the bigger motivator, that game one, your only non-district game, is against Mission Veterans, which is a cross-time rivalry, definitely, or that game one is against the team that made it to the round 4, the furthest in the playoffs? Which is the bigger motivator when this game takes off for your season to start?
Well, I think that, like anything else, it's the first game of the year. I don't think it matters who the opponent is. You want to start off on a good note, and our goal is get that first win that win for that week, and then move on to the next one. And yes, the outside, the community would love to see big deal, but we try to say, hey, every week is a new game, and we win this one, great, and let's go. And we got to be prepared for those guys.
Do you guys as coaches find yourself having to trim back some of that eagerness?
Definitely, and personally, I have a brother of mine that coaches on the other side of the ball, the vet, so. We and the same thing with them, with us. We're like, okay, we're playing vets, but it's not making it that much more bigger than what it is. It's a football game. It's Friday night, and after that game's over, prepare for them, then we get ready for the next game.
Pre-game meal together, much different than the post-game meal.
Definitely.
but again, there's some bragging rights there. There's some fun to it as well.
There is. We've been playing against each other for a long time now, so it's been a family tradition for at least 15 years now. So.
Well, let's break down your district, because we talked about, even off camera, the year of the quarterback. We talk about it so often, but this year just may be the year of the quarterback. Let's talk about your district in general.
Our district, I was speaking to other coaches in our district earlier, and there's no off week, and you got to prepare every week. And every game is going to be an important game, and every team is going to be a tough team. Each team has a different. Like I said, you got your La Joyas that run downhill at you. You got your PSJs that spread you out. You got PSA North that come downhill at you as well. And all those teams are getting better every year. And same thing with us. We're getting better, and we're going to prepare and be able to handle those weeks game in, game out in our district.
Can you tell a difference that your district is all coming now together at a higher level in helping prepare for playoffs? When you only have that one non-district game, you now have the ability that, well, at least everyone in our district is challenging us.
Definitely. We took United High School to the wire, 3 points. They were district champs, and I think playing our tough district prepared us for that last year. And I think going through that this year, if you noticed our records in our district, I think we were 8-2, and we were 4th place team. So when you compare it like that, it prepares us to the next level. And I think our kids seeing that week in, week out, they got to understand that every week you got to bring it, and if not, we're going to find ourselves outside of the playoffs.
Final question. I want to let you brag about this. Talk about the numbers, the turnout for your summer program.
Our kids, we had a great summer program conditioning, and it's a testament to the kids. They work hard. They want to be there. We average about anywhere from 80 to 100 kids every day there. And that goes to show that they want to get better, they want to prepare, and they have their goals. We lay it out for them, but at the end, they're the ones that play the game, they're the ones that go through the grind, and we're just there to facilitate that for them. And I think where their hard work, we're expecting great things for them, this year, and it's, like I said, a testament to them and their hard work.
One of the coaches of the Mission Eagles, Coach Longoria.
Yes,
Thanks for the visit.
Yes, sir.
We'll be back with players after this.
At the Scoop Ice Cream Parlor and Deli, and treat yourself to some amazing things. Ice creams, shakes, sundaes, banana splits, and that's just a sample. If you can dream it, they can make it at the Scoop in Harlingen. From the deli comes a variety of sandwiches that is sure to bring you back for more. Hamburgers and hot dogs served every day. Open Tuesday through Saturday, 11 to 7, Sundays from 12 to 6. On F Street in Harlingen, it's the Scoop Ice Cream Parlor and Deli.
Hola, les habla su amigo Benjamín Gómez, el alcalde de San Benito, invitando a toda la gente que venga a visitarnos aquí a San Benito. Crucen por el puente Los Indios, más bien conocido como el puente de Lucio Blanco. Visítenos a las atracciones que tenemos aquí en San Benito. Aquí los esperamos. Muchas gracias. Su amigo Benjamín Gómez.
We continue to visit with players and coaches, and now we're going to visit with one of the Mission Eagles, Fabian Ahumala, defensive lineman, senior, getting ready for your final year, and thanks for joining me for the show.
Thank you for having me.
And let's talk some football. What have you guys been doing during the summer months?
We just, every single day, day in, day out, Monday through Friday, whenever we get the chance, like, we always go in the mornings to go work out. Our goal has been day in, day out, every single day, show up to grind, like, get better as a whole team, and our bond's been, it's been getting really strong, as a family.
When you look back at last year's season, what do you look at most? The fact that we beat Mission Veterans, or we beat PSJA, or we lost to McAllen Memorial, or we lost to United. What do you guys look at more as a team when you look back at last year?
We don't really focus on that. What we were focusing on was that each and every year that now that we have Coach Demerit as our new coach and everything, we just focus on taking a bigger step every single year. So our first year we went 3-7, and then the next year we went 4-6. Now this past season we went 8-2. Like that, we just want to keep that improvement going. So this year we're looking to take another step to the next level.
So what has the team done during the summer months that you say is different, getting ready to exceed 8-2?
I don't know if I should say it to everyone.
Okay, well, you've been doing a lot though.
Yes, sir, all those.
It starts with numbers. I mean, Coach talked about between 80 and 100 guys. How different is that when you look around as a senior and you see that many guys excited to play football?
It makes me feel good about it, because it's just knowing that in case one of our first guys go down, we have a heart the second stringers, and even further down the depth chart is you can depend on them because they're hard workers and they're talented just as our first stringers and everything. It's good to be able to trust them.
I talk to seniors when programs are on the upswing like this, and sometimes they look over their shoulders, because when you've got 6 guys competing for your position, you find yourself looking over your shoulder, or do you find yourself taking the challenge that I'm going to make myself better because of this?
Definitely taking the challenge. You can't ever turn your back on a challenge. If it's something that gets you better, then why not take it? You get me?
At the same time, do you as seniors look around and take the responsibility? And how do you view these younger players, and how do you feel you can help them?
Yeah, we talk to them just like we talk to anybody else on the team. We don't think we're better than nobody. Everybody's the same. We treat each other. We just coach each other to get better. Yeah.
Last year's loss in the playoffs, I know that's not the way you wanted to go out. How excited is this team to get back on the football field?
Oh, we're incredibly eager to get back on the football field. We're all hungry for it.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Thank you.
Good visit. Fabian Ahumala. We'll be back with more after this.
We are this close. We're this close.
We are this close
of wanting to
making history.
This close to changing the world.
We are this close.
This close to making sure no child suffers a crippling disease
ever again. This close.
We are this close to ending polio.
Ending polio. All we need is you.
This close. If we donate now, we may lose this chance forever. Help Rotary make history at endpolionow.org.
Back here, as we have had a ton of coaches and players come through here. Joining me again, Kevin Naro with the Valley Morning Star, writer extraordinary. Got to hear a lot of those interviews, Kevin. And first of all, if that doesn't get you excited for football season, I don't know what will.
Yeah, I had definitely caught that bug with all these kids just coming on in and seeing some familiar faces, and then having these coaches around. It kind of hits you that football is a week and a half, 2 weeks away. And then for some schools, like you said, they have to wait an extra 2 weeks. But hey, wow, that was a lot of information. And where do we begin?
Well, let's begin in your backyard. Kevin, his main coverage area is 32-6A, and we were talking about that before we broke for the interviews, and the fact that we talked about Hannah, we talked a little bit about San Benito. Let's talk about the Harlingen Cardinals and Manny Gomez, and a rare season in which they're coming in maybe more so with something to prove than ever before.
Yeah, I think so, and I think I'd mentioned it before the last time I was on here that it seemed as if they kind of just leveled out just a little bit by Cardinal standards. Again, 2 years ago they missed the playoffs. Last year they made it. They lost to Westco in the bi-district round, but I think with them having their quarterback back in Galvan and them having that chip on their shoulder, I think they can make a run this year more so. In the past, they have 4 coming back on offense and defense, so there's going to be some youth. But talking to Coach Ledesma, he said that Coach Gomez, if he's not already fired up, he was extra fired up this offseason and with the workouts, and he was just roaring and ready to go. But I think you're going to get your typical Cardinal football. They're going to play good defense. Offensively, Braden Berry is going to be one of their go-to guys at the running back position. Offensive line, they're getting a lot back, and then Jesse Galvan. Or is it Justin Galvan, rather, the younger brother who's going to be a junior, he's going to be Jaime's go-to target this year. There was 3 Galvans on the team last year. One of them graduated. There's going to be 2 back this year, 1 at wide receiver and 1 at quarterback. So keep an eye on that combo there. But to me, 32-6A is wide open. I still think, Hannah's going to be the team to beat. But, like you said, Harlingen did put up, 27 points against Hannah last year at Brownsville Hannah. This year they're going to have Hannah at home. They're going to have San Benito at home, and then the Bird Bowl, it's a home game. So they're going to have 3 games at home, that can really separate themselves.
Does that play into Manny's hand as far as Manny Gomez, the ultimate motivator, having all of that firepower to help motivate these kids to another level, and the fact, Kevin, this district is winnable?
Right, it's definitely winnable, and then again, when you have a guy like Jaime Galvan who's poised to have a breakout year, it's just going to come down to if they can stay healthy, and that's going to be the case for every team in 32-6A, if they can get through that portion of the non-district schedule. And I think I told you last year, with them not playing, Judson was a blessing in disguise because they had a chance to get healthy, and it was just one less game they had to play against some elite competition, because we saw what happened to the schools that did go through that gauntlet, that did have to play the Midland Lees, the Odessa Permians. They got banged up just a little bit. But I think if Harlingen can stay healthy this year, and the last couple of years they've had a couple big injuries that really made the difference. 2 years ago they lost Riley Saucedo, their best wide receiver. Then last year they lost Evo Castañeda. And if they can stay healthy, they can win some games.
Talk about Harlingen South. Coach Ritchie, his job easier or more difficult coming off a playoff appearance?
Oh yeah, because I don't think the job is ever easy, but to make the playoffs for a second year in a row, I guess you could say it's going to be a little bit more challenging. But the thing is that the kids know what it's like to make the playoffs. Harlingen South hadn't been in the playoffs for quite some time. With David Torres coming back, he's going to be their guy under center. They're going to have Brady Bennett, who's going to be a senior this year, 6'4" wide receiver. They're going to lose Derek Delgado, who was their go-to target last year, but I think Brady can fill that in offensively. And then when you look at them defensively, 2 years ago their defensive line was their strong suit. Last year their secondary was their strong suit. They're losing Isaac Moreno, they're losing Caleb Solis, but they're going to get David Cortez back, who was a hybrid linebacker / safety, who was a phenomenal football player. The only sophomore on that varsity last year started for Harlingen South, one of those rare breeds. He's going to be back. He's going to be anchoring the defense, and then along with Kike Alvarado, who's a heck of a corner, might be the best corner in the district, if not the area, who baseball's his best sport. So they're going to have some athletes back. They're going to have some important pieces back for Harlingen South. It's just a matter of how far can David Torres take them, and I think him, like Galvan, like Campos in that district, he's ready to take the reins and have a full-on, a great senior year, really.
Do you feel that Harlingen South, the players are more, I don't want to say more dedicated, but more into the program than they have been in years past, thus helping Coach Ritchie's job?
I think so. I think so. We've seen that over these last couple of years. If you meet Coach Ritchie, he's a very likable guy. He gets along with his players really well. I spent a lot of time there in the field house, and You know, him and his coaching staff, they're very hands-on, and they do a really great job over there. And you're starting to see that, you know, with guys like Christian Cortez, you know, one of their leaders last year, where he was one of the few kids that went through the Lanny Wilson era, then made the transition over to the Coach Richie. And you see the difference, you see the numbers, you see the kids wanting to come out more, and I think making the playoffs helps that. And but you're starting to see Harlingen South football kind of maybe go on the upswing just a little bit. Now, last year I know I picked them to win the Bird Bowl, and I got a lot of heat from the Harlingen side. But I know every year it just always says, well, is this the year South is going to beat Harlingen? And it's like, oh, maybe it might just be this year. And I said, well, if there's going to be a year, it's going to be this year. And then I talked to Eladio Jaimes that week. He goes, Kevin, you don't know how many times I said that when I was at the Star. But I mean, who knows? You know, that game is always fun, and that's the motivator for Harlingen South. And I mean, it sounds bad, but you know, they are the little brother to Harlingen, in all fairness. But I think that motivates these kids more so these last couple of years, especially since Coach Richie's been there. And Coach Richie's been he was at Richmond George Ranch as an offensive coordinator, and he won state there before he came to Harlingen South. So you talk about somebody knowing what it takes and has been to the promised land, who's won it all. Coach Richie's that guy.
All right, that's 32-6A. Well, let's touch on one other team, and that's the mystery team, Brownsville Rivera. They're going to be coming in. If ever there was a team that's like, what is this one about this year, Kevin? It may be the Rivera Raiders, and that may be scary to any team that's getting ready to play them.
Yeah, Coach Albert Leal is our
Yes.
new coach over at Brownsville Rivera. We saw Tom Chavez. He's retired now, so it's gonna be a big change for Brownsville Rivera. Right here we have 7 coming back on offense, 6 on defense. You're right, they are a mystery because we've seen some really good Rivera teams in the past, and then we've seen some really bad Rivera teams in the past. But I mean, what a district they're in. I'm not too sure what their schedule looks like on who they open with. But, I mean, maybe they could surprise some people this year. I mean, we don't know that. You know, every year there's always a team that we kind of just write off. I mean, I've seen in some predictions that some people had those Fresnos finishing last or second to last. So I wasn't too sure about that. But the point being, you never know. I mean, Rivera, you know, those kids are eager to kind of just get things back to the way they were. I mean, we're just, 3 or 4 years removed from those glory years. So these kids are old enough to understand.
Yeah, Rivera very well could be one of those teams. It's like, oh, and we lost to Rivera. Oh, we lost to Rivera, and suddenly you're out of the playoffs and Rivera's in.
Yeah, and in a small district, with you're playing 5 games.
Yes.
So, you know, I mean, Harlingen South last year, mathematically, they were in after they beat those Fresnos, and they still had 2 games left. So, I mean, it can happen.
Let's switch gears and go to 31-6A. You got to see some of those Vela kids coming in here. Kevin, they're not on your beat anymore, but they are a team, as far as Vela and District 31-6A, that 32-6A pays attention to because they know what's coming.
Right, and I mean, that's right out of the gate. That's the first round of the playoffs. And I told you before we went on, I think this is going to be a rare year where we can say 31-6A is going to be stronger and better than 32-6A. I just really believe
on paper
that.
For sure.
On paper for sure. Right now, as of today, I think we can say that comfortably. Oh my goodness! I mean, I covered enough Vela football back in the day to understand, you know, that where this program came from, and it was good seeing Coach Patrick Shelby.
Yes.
Because his roots, you know, began at Edinburgh Vela as an offensive coordinator with Michael Salinas, and my gosh, from where Vela started from not winning a game their first year, and then they won a couple games, and they won 4 games, and they just missed the playoffs, and then they finally made it, and they really broke that door down. But boy, do they have a lot returning, and seeing guys like Bailey, who's 6'5", and you know that's their whole offensive line. They're all big, they're all strong, and if we're gonna talk about preseason polls, I mean, arguably they're number 1. They're gonna be the number 1 team in the Valley, and you know, it's kind of not shifting gears, but seeing guys like AJ Gonzaque and Mikey Garcia, I don't know if they understand the company they're in when they say 4th round. You know, and
they ho-hum that.
Yeah, like, 4th round. He's like, yes, but do you realize who you're with the Tarpons, or with Harlingen, or with the San Benito? Very few teams have made that 4th round. And for Edinburgh Vela to be like right on the cusp of that, you know, I'm just wondering if they understand, you know, how serious this is and how big a deal it is, especially at the 6A level.
Let's talk about Vela. Last year went 6-0. Westaco 5-1. I thought they snuck up on everyone. Wesco East 4-2. All three of those teams allowed less than 6 points per game in district play. And Kevin, 17-7 Vela versus Wesco, 21-0 versus Wesco East. Wesco beat East 23-21. There was all the points scored in the district. Nobody else scored against these guys. And when I talk about teams ready to make that elite run into playoffs, it's either you better have a Landry Gilpin and score a ton of points, or you better have the kind of defense which it appears 31-6A with Wesco East, Wesco, and Vela all standing tall last year, all ready to come back this year. Is that what you look at more so than the big playmakers, is that the fact these defenses can stop people?
Yeah, that's what's going to win you games down the line in the playoffs. And you know, we talked about, you know, quarterbacks and how they can throw, and that's really what it comes down to. Can these quarterbacks make those plays, and can the defense get stops? And you know what? I think out of all the interviews, the best thing I heard was Bailey's comment of when you asked what's it going to take to get to the fourth round, and he said, Joe, we have to play perfect. And I'm like, say no more. You have to play perfect, and that's exactly what these Valley teams need to do in the third round. If you get a turnover, you have to score on it, or if they fumble, you have to recover it. You got it. Ball hits you in the hands as a DB, you got to intercept it, because that might be the only chance you get. So yeah, defensively, that's going to be one important key for all these teams, really. You know, and then like I said, right out of the gate, 31 meets 32, and then 31 will meet maybe somebody from the Laredo District, 36A, and then when you get into the third round is then when you start seeing competition from outside of the Valley. But you know, Wesco has a new coach, Coach Roy Stroman. Michael Salinas was there for 2 years. 2 years, and he kind of helped pick up that program and, you know, implement the things he wanted to do. And Coach Shelby was there last year. He was their offensive coordinator. And well, now he's at Mac High. So Wesco is going to be taking in a little bit of a turnover. I don't know how much, as far as I'm not familiar with Coach Stroman's system, but we do know that Wesco went from their slot T with Coach Villarreal for forever. They changed it up to the spread. So for me, Wesco is going to be a little bit of a question mark, you know, as far as their scheme and what they're going to try and do moving forward. And then there's Wesco East. You know, last year was, I don't want to say a down year for them, because normally they're in the third round, or they're in the playoffs during Thanksgiving. So, you know, you talk about a mystery team, what's Wesco East going to bring? And then you talk about Edinburgh High. You know, last year they made the playoffs. They had a good defense, and Coach Leja and everything that they're doing there, and those numbers have gone up tremendously as well. So, you know, and of course, me being from Edinburgh is always forget about Economides. You know, what are the Jaguars going to do this year? And what can they do? And, you know, who they have coming back. So this year, I think this year 31-6A is going to be more competitive and going to be tougher than 32-6A.
Coach Pena seems to be at his best when everyone puts him as the team that has Cinderella shoes to put on.
Yeah, the Cinderella reference. That's vintage Gabe Pena, yes, definitely.
Key games, Wesco, 4 possible winnable games. Non-district. They take on Rowe, which is going to have a talented quarterback. They take on Ed Couchelsa, which is, I don't know if it's rebuilding, retooling, or, you know, is that chip on the shoulder coming at you hard and heavy. They take on PSJA North, and they play Harlingen South. Wesco on paper, that's all leading up to the Vela game.
Right.
They could be unbeaten, but again, there's so many mysteries on that team. Economides, they play Economides before the Vela game on October 10th. Vela takes on Hannah in week 2. United to start the season on a Thursday versus McAllen Memorial on September 13th. There's 3 non-district games that Vela's saying we're finding as tough as we can find here in the Rio Grande Valley, and we're willing to play them. Wesco East versus Manor, Laredo Alexander, Hannah, and Harlingen. Manor beat East last year and then went too deep in the playoffs. So, you know, they're coming in as a seasoned football team. And those are just the big 3 from 31-6A last year. But, you know, out of the gate, non-district, exciting games coming up.
Yeah, definitely. You know, right out of the gate, you know, like you mentioned, Wesco and Rowe is going to be a good measuring stick. We know what Rowe has. Coach Flores has been there a couple years now. And I think, you know, like I mentioned, you know, Wesco having a new coach, we're going to see a new look Panther team. So there's that one you want to look at. And then, of course, who else did you mention here? Who else did you have?
Wesco East?
Wesco East,
yes.
And who they're playing. Coach Burgett is one of those guys who's going to go out there and he's going to want to beef up that non-district schedule. He has that Manny Gomez mentality where we're going to beef up this portion of the non-district schedule to see where we're at. So once district play comes, we'll know exactly who we are and what we can do.
We're going to get to 5A talk. Somebody asking that on the fly, but let's finish up 6A. PSJA, PSJA North, McAllen Memorial, McAllen Rowe, Mackay, Mission, Juarez, Lincoln, La Jolla. We're talking District 30, 6A. Last year, PSJA, Coach Madakin built one whale of a football team before he left PSJA. It all came to fruition last year. They went 6-1. Memorial, PSJA North, and Mission all go 5-2. That was no joke of a district last year either, Kevin, when you're talking 36A.
Yeah, and then if you're going to wrap up the 6A districts in the Valley, you would probably argue that 36A is going to be the toughest of all of them because of what they have coming back. And then, throw in the mix Campbell Spates, arguably the best player in the Valley all around. And then you have Mission doing the things that they did. La Jolla with Coach Farias, they're always in the mix. They have their way of doing things, of playing defense and, traditionally just running the ball. Mackay, I'm a big fan of Coach Shelby and the things they're going to be doing there. And they have numbers. They always have numbers. And then PSJA, they do lose Trey Guajardo, but, like you mentioned earlier, they have a good quarterback coming back and Justin Morales. And then they still have Marco Guajardo at wide receiver. So they still have plenty of weapons to choose from. And then, of course, McAllen Rowe. Coach Flores, I think they might be poised for a breakout year. I think he's in year 3 as a head coach at McAllen Rowe. So 36A is just as loaded as any other district.
Key looks in that district coming up, non-district game, Mission Veterans. Man, if I'm anywhere else, I'm not sure why. That's a great week 1 game.
We forgot about PSJ North.
PSJ North.
Isaiah Rangel is going to be a senior this year. He's finally going to be a senior this year. I feel like he's been there for forever, but Coach Kaufman and things they're doing over with the Raiders. So, from top to bottom, it's going to be a heck of a district. It's
going to be fun. Other non-district games, PSJA at San Benito, McAllen Memorial versus Hanna, Memorial versus Vela, PSJA North versus Westaco. So even this district has got some key matchups in non-district play heading in. We'll talk some Class 5 football right after this.
A Piece of Cake by Ibadas in Harlingen is a sweet stop for cakes, cookies, and pastries. The best in town for specialty cakes made to order. Sweetbread, cookies, pies, or how about cupcakes? At A Piece of Cake by Ibadas, try a Texas-style cinnamon roll, or how about some tamales? Wedding cakes, graduations, you dream it and they can make it. The best in town is A Piece of Cake by Ibadas in Harlingen.
The Harlingen CISD elementary experience looks something like this. Let's see that again. To learn more about the HCISD elementary experience, visit hcisd.org.
Forever Memories Antiques and Collectibles, located at 237 North Sam Houston in San Benito, is filled with vintage items, collectibles, and a selection of vinyl records that's as good as it gets. Every shelf, every aisle, and table is filled daily by a number of vendors that ensures that something here just might be the item you have to have. The vinyl record area helps bring an added atmosphere that makes for the fun trip when stepping back in time with the memories. Forever Memories, Antiques and Collectibles in San Benito.
Fishing fans, here's your chance to catch some fish and help out athletes. Back here as we continue with our coverage here at Hacienda Ford. It's High School Sports Magazine puts this on with Hacienda Ford, and we're gracious for the fact that the Hacienda Ford has accommodated us to be able to broadcast this. A lot of coaches, a lot of players. It kind of quieted down here, Kevin, and the excitement level has gone by the wayside. But nonetheless, the excitement level for the high school football season, it's coming. Let's talk a little 5A. You got to see some of those players that came in here, Kevin. I know you're past the days of covering the 5A with where you're at with the Valley Morning Star. Doesn't mean you don't pay attention to the teams that are around there. So first of all, nobody ignores the fact in District 16 5A, when that is Mission Vets, Pace, Brownsville Veterans, Palmview, Donna, PSJ Memorial, Southwest, Porter, Lopez, Rio Grande City. First of all, there's 10 of them, so you got 9 district games. But 9-0, Mission Veterans, 4 rounds. I don't know that you can say enough about what they did last year, but I think more importantly about what Coach Gilpin has done to that program to prepare them. I mean, that was something that was, he saw it. He told us it was coming. Oh, yeah. And he says there's bigger and better things to come, and you don't doubt that when you see the program.
Yeah, definitely. And, seeing Mikey Garcia and AJ Gonzaga come in just kind of took me back just a little bit back to from when we, the Santos Villarreal days on how good they were then. And then he had Diego Villarreal come in, and he set records. And then in came Landry as a freshman, played wide receiver a little bit, did a little bit of quarterback. And then as a freshman, when Diego got hurt, Landry stepped in, won a playoff game against Donna, torched Donna at Donna. And I believe they lost to Flower Bluff in the second round. But that seed was planted. Then, of course, Landry goes back to wide receiver as a junior. Diego goes back to quarterback as a senior. We were there for when they played Dripping Springs. And I think you and I had that, like a quadruple header that weekend in San Antonio, where we saw Los Fresnos play, we saw Westaco East, we saw Itcalchelso play Victoria East, and then we capped it off with Mission Veterans and Dripping Springs. And I remember that whole weekend you and I were in San Antonio, we said, while these teams did this, this, and this, we circled Mission Vets and said they could be the last team standing. We think that they can do this against a team like Dripping Springs. They lost, but they put up, 30 some points, more or less. But we saw what they could do. I think Mikey was just a freshman then. AJ was in 8th grade. So I was like, but we knew what was coming. We saw things kind of take shape. Landry got a taste of the 3rd round. Jacob Guerrero was a senior that year, one of their better wide receivers. We saw everything kind of, the wheels were set in motion for a big senior year coming from Landry and those guys. And that's exactly what happened. And going back to what we were talking about, how these kids for Mission Veterans just came accustomed to saying, yeah, 4th round. For us, that's a big word. That's a big word, and you're in some elite company. Why not again this year? You seeing you guys like, what a better combo with Mikey and AJ Gonzaga coming back this year. In that district, and again, that district's going to be tough. They got Bronzeville Veterans, who's going to be back. Liam Longoria is going to be a good quarterback for Bronzeville Veterans. Jesse Banda over at Brownsville Pace, so it's going to be tough. But for Mission Veterans, for everything they did last year, and really helping continuing to put Valley. I know people always say, a team will go 3 deep, and they'll say, oh, we put the Valley on the map. But what Mission Veterans truly did last year by going that coveted, and we say that coveted 4th round, it was just really something special and something that I think people like you and I will appreciate. It doesn't come around too often, but I think what those kids did was really, really special. And for Landry to have the year that he had, and then to have Lupe Rodriguez in here earlier to see, the records he set.
How you doing, sir?
Hang on, we got a coach coming in here to join us right here in the middle. That's all right. We'll get him in a second. All right, let's don't lose pace. 7-2.
Right.
Brownsville Pace was right there in the mix, and that district 16-5A loaded for bear. Let's talk about 16-5A. That Sharyland, another program, Kevin.
Yeah.
Quietly 6-0 in district play. Is that ho hum for Ranadame, or is that just how good this program is?
It's a little bit of both. Because in our times, what's our motto with Ranadame? You never count them out.
Yep.
They're always going to be roaring and ready to go. They're ready to have another big year, and along with their sister school, Sharyland Pioneer, we're just seeing some of their athletes come in. It's just like, whew. They got some size. They got some kids, and it's exciting to see. And that Snakeskin Classic's always one that you always want to watch out for.
We got to see a Pioneer in 7-on-7 this year, Kevin, and they showcased what kind of skill position is coming on it, and fans who aren't accustomed to keeping up with the 5A. Sharyland Pioneer is one that I've circled as, they may make a magical run if the stars line up. When it comes to playoff time, because they certainly have the core of athletes that as a coach you want to build around.
Right, and a lot of them are still sophomores and juniors.
Yes.
So there's a lot to build on if you're Sharyland Pioneer for sure, and I think they're one of this is maybe their 5th year,
Yes.
more or less. And so they're a pup. They're a young program, up and coming.
Mercedes went 4-2 last year in district play, made the playoffs. Not what I would say Mercedes standards. They weren't satisfied with that, Kevin, and this Mercedes team is probably going to be hungrier than any team we've seen in a while for the Mercedes Tigers.
Right, and they're going to have a lot coming back on both sides of the ball. Last year, I guess you could say, was a rebuilding year, retooling year.
Still went 4-2 and made the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely, because it wasn't the Mercedes we had been accustomed to seeing with the Ledesmas over the last couple of years, but Mercedes will definitely be a team back in the mix, and it's going to be a dogfight with them and the Sharylands, and of course you're going to have Ed Calchelsa, who's going to be a question mark in that district, but it's going to be fun.
Let's talk about the rest of that district, okay, and I kind of want to run over this 16 5A district. Sharyland ran the table, went 6-0. Pioneer 5-1. Mercedes 4-2. Valley View in at 3-3. Ed Calchelsa went 1-5. That's a note that I put down because Ed Calchelsa, you're just not accustomed to saying 1-5 and the Yellow Jackets. I don't think that's going to last long. Valley View gave up just 77 points in district play. That defense was lost. People didn't understand just what they did. That was a 3-3 squad that they gave up only 77 points. Sharyland went 8-4 overall. They lost to Brenham. And fans may have forgotten this. They lost in double overtime to a Brennan team that lost to Cal Allen. Pioneer lost to Cal Allen by 1, 56-55. They beat 2 more teams before losing to Cal Allen in round 4, by the way, that Brenham team. Cal Allen lost to Fort Bend Marshall 19-17, who played the next week in the state finals before losing Aledo. So Sharyland, Pioneer, all right there playing not just to get to the playoffs, but playing teams that went elite.
Right.
And played them right to the hill.
I think Sharyland lost in the playoffs 2 years in a row in overtime.
Yep.
I think the year before.
Brenham in double overtime this last year.
Yeah, so they're knocking on the door, and it's something that we haven't seen before.
Yeah, the Pioneer loss to Cal Allen was 56-55, and I mean that was. You're talking about replace Cal Allen with Pioneer,
right.
And Pioneers making a run to the.
And Cal Allen was good this year, and they're going to have a lot coming back this year as well.
Key games this year, Sharyland takes on McCallum Memorial. I think everyone's playing McCallum Memorial in those non-district games and want to get their chance at Campbell Spates. They also play Hannah in a non-district game. Pioneer on October 18th is the Sharyland and Pioneer Snakeskin Classic. Ed Calchelsa fans, well, your date with Mercedes is at home this year. The Yellow Jackets and the Black Hole against the Mercedes Tigers. Pioneer takes on Harlingen as well. That's last year Harlingen put it to Pioneer.
Oh, yeah.
I think that may be a motivator. I could have asked those Diamondbacks that question. What about that Harlingen game? How motivated are you to get back out there on that one? And that may be the one where I know Manny Gomez isn't going to take them lightly, but the Rio Grande Valley just may see the improvement of Pioneer in that game. And then, of course, Mission on September 13th.
Yeah, it was just like when Mission Vets beat Harlingen.
Yes.
Was it last year, a couple of years ago, when Mission Vets came out and beat Harlingen? It was 2 years ago because they played in McAllen, and everyone was like, wow, Mission Vets beat Harlingen, so it's a big deal.
We're here at Hacienda Ford and visiting with Kevin Naro of the Valley Morning Star. He's taking a lot of his Saturday here on a day he's going to be riding, and so he'll be up till 2 in the morning before he finally gets home and says it all and gets it done. But you're going on vacation for a couple of days.
Tomorrow, yeah.
So you get out of the mix for a little while.
Just a little bit.
But you get back in it. Kevin, you got to see and hear some of the interviews with some of the other players. Let's talk 16 4A. Port Isabel, Progresso, Rio Hondo, Raymondville. First of all, everyone looks at that and says, oh, they all made the playoffs. Yes, a 4-team district makes the playoffs. But last year's breakdown, did we see Raymondville running the table? I'm not so sure we did. Rio Hondo going 2-1. Port Isabel at 1-2. But what Port Isabel did in the playoffs when they lost to West Oso 57-56 kind of got my attention. Rio Hondo, is this a retooling year, a rebuilding year? We're not sure. Raymondville, we know they have a great core of skill players that are in the mix. We saw them in 7-on-7. They got a quarterback that's going to be coming in. But how competitive do you think this 4A district is, 16 4A2?
Well, I think Port Isabel is going to take that next step. And, talking with some of the coaches in the district, they're worried that nobody's talking about Port Isabel. I'm sure Coach Strunk says, hey, that's a good thing. Let's just not be talked about. But coaches in that district are like, okay, no one's talking about Port Isabel, and that worries us just a little bit because of the things that they can do. I think they're going to be right in the mix. Raymondville. Now, did we see them running the table? No. Was I surprised? Were we surprised over at the Star or the Herald? No, because of what they had last year with Jacob Posas, who had a heck of a year. He ran and threw for over 1,000 yards. A guy who played linebacker the year before and was an all-state linebacker slid in and played quarterback for them. But now they have Jared Cavazos, who we did get to see. Kid's about, what, 6'3", 6'4"?
Yeah.
Tall guy. Then you talk about
the Rocket.
Yeah, the Rocket. You know, is what his nickname is over in Raymondville. But today I'd have to say, you know, Raymondville is going to be that team to beat. They're going to have Justin Cantu, who a lot of people might not know that name now, but you talk about the AJ Gonzalez, you talk about the Mikey Garcias of these elite wide receivers in the Valley. Justin Cantu is going to be right up there with them. I think, you know, in about a month or two from now, you know, you'll be talking about Justin Cantu.
Got one of our salesmen here. If you needed to come in here, you can get stuff. We're good. All right, we're off camera. We're still talking though. We're talking about 16-4A. You know, Raymondville again, Kevin. We didn't get a chance to interview any of their players here.
I'm not sure if they're here.
But if you were to talk to Raymondville players and ask for motivation, you know, you take a look at how their season came to an end last year. They beat Orange Grove in round 1, but then lost to Navarro, a game in which 35-27. They had that game in their hands. So a highly motivated team, Raymondville Bearcats, if any, is right there saying we know we're better than what we showed last year.
Yeah, absolutely. They were right on the cusp of getting to that third round, and geez, I forgot where they were playing, but I was just up the road when Rio Hondo was playing Cueto.
Yes.
And we were keeping tabs on that game, and we were just like, wow, Raymondville might actually do it. But,
yep.
Yeah, you know, they did lose a lot. You know, they lost Dion Castillo. They lost Noe Zambrano. They're losing some big names on defense, but they're getting Thomas Zambrano back, one of the younger Zambrano. Zarabian Armaderas, another kid who's going to have a breakout year. He's just a junior at wide receiver. So the skill positions are there. They have the pieces in place. I think they can win the district. If you're going to ask me now, I'll pick them to win the district, you know, because of what they have coming back. And then you look at Rio Hondo and you ask me, is it a retooling year? Is it a rebuilding year? I think it's just a little bit of everything. These kids are very young. They did make state 7-on-7. They beat Raymondville on the way to get their out-the-state qualifier. And yes, I know it's 7-on-7. They don't tackle. They don't make contact. But for those young kids, just to get a little bit of confidence, Zachariah Rios, who's projected to be the starting quarterback. You know, there'll be a little bit of a quarterback competition with him and Matthew Trevino, who's going to be a junior this year. Rios is going to be a sophomore, so they're going to try and iron that out as far as the quarterback position goes for the first time in a while, because you know they had Tyler Bush, they had Josiah Ortega at the quarterback position. So I don't want to say they were spoiled, but you know they had that figured out. They knew who their quarterback was going in to the year. But you know, Rio Hondo, they're very sophomore heavy. It's that sophomore class that they're really excited about. You know, the seniors that they do have coming back, Joey Ortega, who's going to be one of the best linebackers in the Valley this year in the area. Him and with Sam Valines, who's going to be another hybrid type of linebacker, safety kind of guy for Rio Hondo. They're going to be anchoring that defense. If Matt Trevino doesn't play quarterback, you'll see him on the defensive side of the ball playing some linebacker. He did some good things for Rio Hondo in the playoffs last year, so that's going to be a fun district. Now, who will win it? I would have to say Raymondville, but Raymondville does have to go to Rio Hondo this year, and anytime those two play, it's going to be a lot of fun. But
and Port Isabel.
And Port Isabel, you know, they're in the mix as well, and you know, Rio Hondo is going to be one of those younger teams. But if you're going to look at towards the future, yes, it's bright, but for now, it's Rio Hondo trying to find their identity. These young kids got to get accustomed to the bright lights, got to get accustomed to playing at the varsity level. That's more of what's going to be this year for Rio Hondo.
16-4A won. LaFeria went unbeaten last year in district play, lost in round 3. I think quietly went to round 3 last year in the playoffs. But I don't think LaFeria's going to sneak up on anyone this year, even though people were saying as soon as the season ended, well, they're losing so much, they're not going to be there. Kevin, I think LaFeria is tooled and ready to go.
No, if you talk to Dorian, you know, and Loferia, Dorian Hernandez, their quarterback, they believe they're going to be better. They believe they're going to be just as good as they were last year, despite them losing, Darius Hernandez, one of their Noah Conde, two of their wide receivers. But Loferia, they have everything in place. Defensively, they did lose a lot as well, but they're in a very winnable district. And the things that they can do, and again, we talked about it at the top of the show with Dorian ready to take that next step, and in my opinion, can be the top guy in the Valley when it comes to the quarterback position.
So they went to round 3 last year and were competitive in that ball game, and another squad that we didn't have any other, Livonia, and in a game in which they were beaten, and you could just tell by the mannerism of the kids. I always like to do that walk, and so do you. After the game, when everyone's waiting for everyone to get back in their cars, you can get the sense of just how the players react to that loss and how motivated they are going into the next season. I think that Loferia squad has used that loss to Livonia, and they would be another team that would probably say, we not only want to get to round 3, we want Livonia. And we want to take on a team. But I don't think that's a stretch to put on the burden on those players.
Yeah, they're actually real quick. They're going to get it's a little nugget. They're getting the turf field putting in the Loferia as well. So those kids they're itching to get on that new turf. So Rio Hondo's the only school left in that district with grass.
The last one.
On a turf.
Everyone left. All right, so Loferia is going to be fun to watch. 16-4A is going to be a lot of fun to watch this year up and down because of the fact that Loferia does play against the Port Isabels, the Raymondvilles, the Rio Hondos. Even though they're not in the same district, we get to see those matchups, and we get to see the best of the best in 4A. In 3A, I want to touch base on some of the 3A teams, and the one team we want to make sure we touch base on, Kevin, is Lyford. A solid playoff run last year, 5-2, lost to Cole 16-14. Another team that circled a playoff loss as a motivator to get ready for this year. And I think the Lyford Bulldogs are ready to make a jump, even to a bigger step forward this year.
Right, and they're going to have a heck of a quarterback in Caleb Klosterman.
Another quarterback.
Right, another quarterback. Look at us. He's going to be a junior this year. And the things he's done and the things he's doing, he's really just taking on that. What Chasing Ohosa and what his brother, Lane Klosterman, left behind him. And hey, who talking about ultimate motivators and talking about coaches getting kids ready, Izzy Gonzalez.
Yes.
Israel Gonzalez over at Lyford. He's Manny 2.0. You look at Manny, you look at Israel, you can see the same guy. He brought over what they did at Harlingen. He's implemented it there in Lyford. Those kids are buying into it on what they're doing. And, Lyford's going to be a fun team to watch this year and what they do. Right off the bat, Izzy's first year, they went up to Jordanton. They won that football game. They got some confidence. Last year, they made the playoffs again. And it's a unique district that they play in. They have SGA, they have San Diego, Mathis, George West, Falfurrias, Bishop, AP. So they don't play Valley schools in their district. And I think that's right off the bat. That's an automatic challenge for them.
Yeah, you want to get a chance to see Lyford close. If they're not at their home games, you might catch them when they play against the Brownsville St. Joseph. You might catch them in some of the games against the Cotton Bowl. And otherwise, Santa Gertrudis, San Diego, Mathis, George West, Bishop, Aransas Pass. You may have to travel to see that Bulldog team, or you may have to keep track on Rio Sports Live. I had fans asking about, what kind of quality games will we see on Rio Sports. Again, remember, fans, the Friday night veiled curtain, steel curtain, whatever you want to call it, it's still in place. UIL is going to allow Fox Sports to broadcast a couple of games in week 1 and maybe week 2 this year, but that Friday night mystique of live high school coverage, football, no, it's not happening. We can do video, we can do a replay, and even now we're reaching a point on Rio Sports Live and other entities, but certainly on Rio Sports Live, that even the Friday night video replay of a game, I've got more and more and more coaches who are saying, I don't want that game shown. I don't want fans to be, not fans, I don't want fans to see it. They are not saying that, but they're saying I don't want other teams to be able to see my games. And I can have a show, a week, a month, talking about that, the scouting purposes, but the fact that it is Friday night football, live, not going to happen on video. We'll give some audio representation, but video is not going to happen. Thursdays and Saturdays, well, that's when you get into your 6As, and so again, we're going to swing our video coverage to where it is. It is what it is, and you get that coverage. Other than that, you're looking at social media, you're looking at what the paper covers, you're looking at what high school sports magazine covers. Whatever we can provide, we provide. But UIL, definitive rule, Friday night video, just not going to happen. We're going to wrap up our talk about football. We'll touch base on Santa Rosa 3A, Santa Rosa Warriors over there with Monte Alto, Taft, Odom, Banquete, London, and Hebronville. Mystery district to me. Santa Rosa on paper, I talked to some people. They have some tools coming up, and the Santa Rosa Warriors may be competitive over there, Kevin, and you never want to rule them out.
Yeah, definitely, and they're going to be tested right out of the gate with the Battle of 506 when they get La Feria. They're going to have to replace one of the best running backs in the Valley in Ryan Mesa this upcoming season. But yeah, Coach Ayala and the Warriors, they don't forget about them out there in Santa Rosa. I know last year they had a pretty good season, and again, another winnable district. 16-2A. Santa Maria made the playoffs last year, my friends, and they look to have more players coming up. Is that a program on the upswing? We're going to take a look. But at 16-2A2, you can't go without talking about another team that their playoff loss is one that's motivating them. The La Villa Cardinals. They made the playoffs. They beat Runge last year in the round one. They lost to Granger 40-36. And again, another team, Kevin, La Villa Cardinals, you wouldn't talk about them preseason last year before, at all. But now you're talking about them now because of the fact that, hey, that program just may have taken the next step up. Yeah, and it started when Zach Gomez went over to La Villa and they made some noise and won a playoff game. But yeah, and is it Santa Maria that they have to play at Fugio?
Yeah, no, Santa Maria has to play Refugio, yeah.
Jeez, when we seen that, I was like, yikes.
Santa Maria's in a district with Three Rivers, Refugio, Coffer, Freer, and Benbolt.
State powers.
And yet they made the playoffs last year in that mix. And yes, they took it on the chin, but so did everyone that played Refugio last year. La Villa, again, I look for them to be one of the teams to beat and play. For Freelance Marine Military Academy, I saw schedules. Everybody's scheduling Marine Military Academy for their younger kids to play against. And I'm talking about the Harlingen South. They're all getting a taste of, and Marine Military Academy is getting a taste of that. They're a freelance division. And then, of course, the TAS Division II Region 4, St. Joe Academy. And, Tino Villarreal had to go through a year without an elite quarterback last year. But I would dare say that team is most likely ready to compete at a high level again this year, St. Joseph.
Yeah, when is Midnight Madness for St. Joe?
It's going to be.
It's got to be coming up pretty soon.
Got to be a Sunday night going into Monday. If Monday's the start of practice next week.
I'm sure we'll be out there.
We'll be out there.
It's kind of been a little bit of a tradition
to go out to Midnight Madness, and I'm anxious to see what St. Joe Academy does. We're going to come back, have our final thoughts on this, but again, everything pretty much wrapping up here at Hacienda Ford. High School Sports Magazine putting on the annual kickoff show, if you will, here at Hacienda Ford. It's their third year, and we congratulate them on their venture forward and making this event happen. Kevin Naro with the Valley Morning Star. I'm Joe Bowling, Real Sports Live. We'll be back to wrap this up after this. Mark the calendar now and plan on attending October 20th as the 3-Up, 3-Down San Perlita Booster Club Fishing Tournament looks to be the biggest and best yet. Located at Laguna Madre Baits in Port Mansfield, Texas, this tournament is set to provide 100% of the proceeds directly to the athletic programs. Artificial lures only with a blackjack format, no fish over 21 inches, $150 per team or boat, maximum 4 people, and the grand champion is a team closest to 63 inches with 1 red trout and 1 flounder. Food raffles, baked goods, a silent auction, and terrific prizes from some great sponsors. Registration is October 19th. The tournament is October 20th. See you there at the 3-Up, 3-Down Fishing Tournament in Port Mansfield, where catching fish is helping athletes in a big, big way. Back here, Hacienda Ford, Edinburgh, Texas. Joe Bowling, Kevin Naro, DeMarcus Clark was running around getting so much really cool B-roll and some stuff with players' interaction. Watch the social media stuff as far as we're trying to blow that up. And Bert Ruiz was out on the camera, and he was getting some good stuff. I just wasn't able to switch the camera as often as I wanted to as they were out there doing some of that competition. But again, working hard on the backside. You get a vacation, Kevin, for a couple of days, and then you're back at work. But your final thoughts as you get ready for this season, and what's your expectations, your biggest expectations going into this year?
Biggest expectation. Can someone? I was talking to Mark about this the other day. I was like, I'm not sure if anyone can. Who's going to make that third round out of 32-6A? I'm not sure. Like I said, 31-6A to me this year is going to be the D district. And can we see someone from 32-6A make the third round? Because I just have a feeling that 31-6A is going to be that strong. And who is going to be the team in 32-6A to go back to the third round? I'm not sure if anybody can do it as of right now. The season hasn't started. I haven't seen anything. This is just premature thoughts. But that, if you're going to ask me what the question is going into this year, is who's going to be the team to take it into the third round this year out of the 32-6A district, whether it's going to be Harlingen, San Benito, or Brownsville-Hanna. Those are the three teams that kind of circled it that have the best chances of going. Taking a step down to the 4A, I think La Feria has the best chance to make it to the third round rather. So if anybody in our area is going to make it to the third round, I think La Feria is going to be that team to make it again to the third round.
Got a chance. My final thoughts are, again, watch the quarterbacks. Landry Gilpin set the bar so incredibly high numbers-wise and wins-wise that I'm not sure anyone can achieve that this year. But you're going to see week in, week out games in which a quarterback from a team carried a team to a victory when they may not have should have won the game. And it's going to be a lot of fun to watch these quarterbacks. Some of them are young. At Rowe, you got a sophomore. At Mission, you got a sophomore. At Hanna, you got a senior. At Harlingen, you got a senior. It's a mix. But again, I think it's going to be more fun to watch quarterbacks than it has been in years past. And I'm talking top to bottom, any class and in any district. That's going to do it for our broadcast. Again, thanks, Kevin. Looking forward to the tab. Yep. The Valley Morning Star will have that tab out right before week 1. And again, it's a combination of the teams in the District 32-6A and that region over there that the Valley Morning Star covers. RGVsports.com also has coverage as well, expanded coverage on all of their previews and preseason, and then, of course, during the games and during the seasons. Stellar coverage. We always try to promote that on Rio Sports Live, that we do the live games and then we try to promote every other sports writer and sportscaster. That's why we're here in conjunction with High School Sports Magazine. If you're out there covering athletes, we want to make sure you're promoted as well. So Kevin, my thanks to you and the Valley Morning Star for allowing you to be here.
Yep, thank you for having me.
Till next time, from Hacienda Ford, hope you enjoyed this one. High school preview, football talk. We'll have highlights and reels and all the fun stuff as well. But until next time, so long.